Yes, sir. Y'all, what's good? Sixth element of hip hop. The show has begun. It is our Saturday show, DC Power Hour. What's good? My homie Stu Dog and Raw Talker in the building with me today.
What up? What up?
What's happening? What's happening? Stu Dog is I don't know, he AFK at the moment, cleaning his fish tank, whatnot. How y'all doing, man?
Just chilling, man. Going over these comics that I picked up from my brother and some that got delivered in the mail and
Oh.
my local comic shop and picked up a whole bunch of G.I. Joe comics. Yeah, it's just an abundance of stuff, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We got a good show, man. The main topic we're gonna talk about is the Batman 2. Who is the villain? We have some great news there. We have talking about the Batman's spin-offs, Penguin. What's going on with the Joker? Is it going to be a spin-off? What's going on with that character? Lanterns, DCU. We got James Gunn's Lanterns. We got a new casting that we can talk about. Peacemaker season 2, first footage. James Gunn's Superman trailer is locked and loaded. We got James Gunn addressing and updating fans on the Superman progress and trailer date and good stuff. Superman trailer, all that good stuff. David Cornsweat, Superman casting rival.
Okay.
Can't think of his name. The Man of Steel. Why is he escaping me? What's his name? Why is it? The dude that played Man of Steel. Somebody tell me his name before my brain explodes right now.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Thank you. All I could think of was Corn Sweat. Sorry, brain fart. Henry Cavill is his main competitor, addressing the losing the role to the new Man of Steel. His little interview there, and then of course the big thing we've all been waiting for: Star Wars Andor season 2. Cool shit going on. Introducing an old ship from a beloved 30-year-old Star Wars story. Andor season 2 got the Imperials that are going to be pitted against each other. We'll talk about that. Tony Gilroy talks about Andor. He says we will tell the story of Yavin. So y'all check that out. Andor reveals a first look at Krennic's return. Hang on, somebody. Y'all good? Krennic's return. We got How to Train Your Dragon was a favorite of my son. One of those CGI cartoons, How to Train Your Dragon, one of the most popular ones. And it was really cool. They had a couple of sequels. There's a live action How to Train Your Dragon that they're doing. That actually looks kind of good. I don't know why they're doing it. Why do we need a live action? This is a masterpiece. I don't know why are we doing this? But hey, that is the season in which we live. Other than that, man, a couple tidbits, couple cool surprises, couple things about some toys and some comics and some surprises that I won't mention right now in case we don't have time to get to. But yeah, all kinds of good stuff. And couple things about the G.I. Joe Classified Dragonfly real quick. I just want to update everybody because last time when I did the unboxing, and a lot of people still right now have no fucking clue where to put the goddamn stickers, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong because there's no sticker instructions whatsoever, and there's no images from Hasbro of a completed Dragonfly, if you can believe it or not. There's the digital render that they gave us before we got the thing, but when you compare the digital render to the actual thing, stuff is in a different place. And I mean like small details, like where the cockpit lines up, where this curve and this gun line up, where this stuff is at, where rivets are located, where paint apps are located. Very different on the real thing than on the thing. You couldn't put So you had the here, let me
That's
pop this up.
wild.
It's really wild. You had the teeth and everything, the mouth and teeth on the image. They had the eye. They had the eye right up here on the crease of where the cockpit opens and closes. So right on the line. So there's
Mhm.
no way
Mm.
you wouldn't be able to open the cockpit. That's one. Two, they had the whole mouth thing moved up a little bit. But if you try to put this thing anywhere else, this sticker here, it either comes off the bottom, and you'll notice where I did end up putting it. There's a door right here.
Yo, see?
Door can't open right now because of these stickers. So I will probably end up not keeping these on, but I just put them on to show you guys this is where you can put them. This is where you're gonna put them. It's the only place. So get a good gander, maybe take a screenshot. That's where the eye can fit. That's where the teeth can go. Now, if you notice around the teeth, there's like a film, like the clear, sticker. So that's all noticeable. I would have to trim that real tight with an X-Acto knife to make it look decent. Trim the teeth, I mean. Get that sticker off there, and then you can see, like, I even had to remove. There's even a missing tooth that doesn't quite fit, but it's all done in sections. So yeah, it's a real clusterfuck. The Dragonfly looks really clean and dope and beautiful without the stickers. You really don't need them, But if you really want it to look like the GI Joe Dragonfly, you want those teeth on there. That's where you can place it where it works.
Well, technically, that's for the Tiger Force. Actually, let me show you.
Oh, the OG Dragonfly didn't have that?
No, the OG Dragonfly had none of that. Nah.
Luckily, I have 3 of them.
I know. Hang on, let's look at this. This is the OG Dragonfly, everybody.
It's the OG one now. I know.
No teeth.
No teeth.
Okay.
No nothing.
Yeah, no teeth on either side. Yeah, on either side.
Just the Dragonfly and Wild Bill's
Symbol.
name. I mean, you can put the stickers where you wanted to, even back then. But at least they had a flat surface to where you can
put them. Yeah.
And a diagram. And they came with diagrams.
And they gave you a diagram. They gave you
Yeah, they gave
instructions of where to place them.
where to put them.
Yeah.
That's not here.
It'd
So
be like sticker 1, go here. Sticker 5, go here.
Now I'm gonna show you the Tiger Force one. Hold on.
Right. No, I knew these were on Tiger Force, but for some reason in my head I imagined the Dragonfly having teeth. So that being said, y'all, these are coming off right now.
Oh yeah,
These
look
are
at it.
coming off right now. Yeah. Oh wow, and that's a completely different teeth. Doesn't even look similar to these teeth.
Teeth with tongue. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, these are coming off right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I'm all about nostalgia. I'm all about the OG look. I want everything to look as close to the 80s joint as possible. That's just for me. I know a lot of people like to classify. They want stuff to be new and different. They want the new stuff. That's cool if that's you. No judgments. This is just a personal preference because I collect these for nostalgia.
Yes,
I like that dopamine hit I get when I see some nostalgic shit, and I'm gonna show you something that is giving me the best dopamine hit, the best nostalgia hit I've gotten since Gung Ho, and I hadn't gotten it since Gung Ho, and I thought it was gone. I thought that I hadn't gotten it because, I'd been doing, that it had gone, that initial feeling, that you get from when you do something that you first get addicted to that kind of goes away. After a while, and I thought that's what it was, but no, not so. I got a new figure, and just as much nostalgia as Gung Ho gave me, and that same feeling where I kept wanting to come back and look at my shelf and look at that figure again, man. Like I haven't had that since Gung Ho, and that's been a while. It's been a while, so I'm getting these shits off. Okay, there we go, and this thing is not lightweight at all, guys. Trust me. That thing is heavy as shit. Fuck. All right, this popped off. That's okay. That can pop right back on. There we go. All right, put the stickers back on the thing.
I wanted to show you.
Oh, Cover Girl.
Yeah. Super O-ring.
Nice. Yes, and we're about to get a retro card back of Cover Girl.
Yeah.
But so this is my dopamine I'm talking about right here. This is my nostalgia bump I'm talking about right here. So we got Storm Shadow version 2. and I was super excited because this is my favorite figure, my favorite character from the '80s was V2 Storm Shadow. And if you don't know, this is when Storm Shadow joined the Joes, kind of became a good guy, and that's that. But I just liked it because I really liked the design. I liked how he looked. I liked the bowed out hood that he had over his mask because I was, like I said before, I was way into ninjas in the '80s. Most kids were, and something about the way the mask looks with the over hoodie over it. I just really dig that the way it looks, and this Storm Shadow had that. So when they gave us this Storm Shadow, he had a big old skirt on him and some big Rob Liefeld pouches around his, waist that were just massive and just did not look anything like the original figure. And he had like a samurai skirt thing going on and like a pauldron, armor padding and all this stuff, big strap and all kinds of extra gear. So I removed that extra gear, and lo and behold, he looks just like the original dude. But the hood was not bowed out how it is you see now, like kind of bowed out like a hoodie on both sides.
Yeah.
It was skin tight, flat to his mask, which was a huge disappointment for me because, like I said, that was the iconic factor I knew would be the deciding thing that made this either look, like the original or not. And they didn't. They didn't pull it off. And what really ticked me off, the irony is that the original Storm Shadow that they first gave us of the version 1 Storm Shadow came with a hood that version never had, and the hood is bowed out pretty well, like pretty nicely. And I thought, oh, that's the one they're going to use for version 2. And here we go, we get version 2. They don't use that hood. This hood, like I said, is skin tight and it doesn't come off. So my next plan was to put the old version, the original Storm Shadow Season 1 hood on and use that one and like paint the designs on, but you can't do it. You can't get the hood off. So then I thought I was fucked, and then I started looking at it, thinking, and my brain started spinning, and I started looking around my floor, my extra parts box, and I saw this little piece from one of the Snow Serpent snowshoe, and I chopped it up into the perfect size little bits and shoved them in there and wedged them in so that the hood bowed out on the sides like the original. And let me get it to focus so you can see inside there and see what I'm talking about. But I really, really, really am happy with it. Like super duper happy, super excited that I got it to do that. And it's still not focused. Hang on. Let me get the lighting. Sorry, for some reason, camera does not like to.
What's happening?
There we go. Almost. There it is. Yeah. So you can almost kind of see the pieces in there wedged in there.
Mm-hmm.
But they're white. You can't really see them per se. Like, and it just looks really good.
Yeah.
This looks super duper good. So that's how you can do it, y'all. If you got V2 Storm Shadow and you want them to look like the original, that's the way you do it. That's the way you get it done.
Yeah. I went to a cool guy, a friend. He owns a toy shop. I mentioned him in the past. And he had a whole bunch of these Super 7 O-rings, but he also had a ton of G.I. Joe classifieds. And at one point, I almost gave in, man, and say I should start back again.
Yeah.
Almost. And then it was just like, all right. Then I turned to the O-ring I was looking for, Cover Girl, and I'm looking for the bat. I forgot to ask him for the bat, but I'll do it next time. And I'm being very selective about those. But yeah, man, going into his toy shop, man, it's like, then I didn't want to leave. It's just like, oh shit everywhere, all vintage.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yo, and y'all saw the Ghost Rider the other day. I did chrome him out.
Oh dang, yo, he looks
dope. That's 100%.
Yeah, that chrome, nice.
Maybe a little bit later, Slade, I'll show.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that. Let me see it again. That how the detailing in the fucking chain, bro.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
If I can get it to focus, so the chain becomes it's like clear orange. Yeah, it's clear orange. It actually somehow they actually blend it to the solid from the solid silver chain to this clear orange chain. It blends right there perfectly, like it's seamless. And then of course I chromed out the gray. Let me get focus. Keeps wanting to focus on the background. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way better.
And of course I chromed out the metal, and then I painted that little part right there black, because all this was just plain old gray, guys. Everything, all the chain, all the spikes, that thing, everything was just gray. And so I used the good old chrome marker, chrome liquid chrome pen to make him the way he should be. Now, one more thing before we hop into the Batman 2 villain joint is I just discovered this. I can't believe I didn't notice it before. That's Airborne. This is the 60th anniversary Halo jumper. It's an identical figure. All they did is paint him.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Identical.
All they did.
So now, guess what? This is my Night Force Airborne.
There you go.
That's it. I hooked him up. I customized him a little bit, gave him a better gun, put these night vision shits on there. I'm gonna paint some of his stuff on him black, like maybe his knee pads and his straps and all the belts and hooks and everything's gonna be all black, so that he'll be more Night Force. But that's it. That's him. He'll be Night Force Airborne now. Because the only reason I bought this figure was for the parachute, and then he was just kind of like a throwaway. But now I'm so excited. He's a Night Force Airborne.
Dope.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
that's
the only 60th. That's just another character. I mean, literally, it's just Airborne. They didn't barely change anything. They put a compass on his wrist, and that's it. Other than that, it's just painted.
Yeah. The G.I. Joe was notorious for the repaints. It's been since day one.
And I love it.
Yeah,
I love that they're doing it in
is.
classified, because it feels like the 80s.
Yeah.
It feels like that's how they originally did it anyway. That's how they got down. So it works.
Case in point.
There you go.
Case in
There
point.
you go.
Two of the same figures, different colors.
There you go. And who is that? That's
I want to say it's a Viper. It's I want to say Gyro Viper or something. And then there's the other name for the Ella Viper. But I may be wrong on the name. I just got to get my my book. So many when you start forgetting, and there's different versions of these two. It's like it's crazy. You go through all the books of G.I. Joe, you got different colors. Like this guy is Super Trooper with all the silver, the gold kind of. I would say it was like a whitish gold plate for his chest and his helmet. Then and this guy here, there's so many versions of him is ridiculous.
Is that Night Creeper?
No, this is yeah, I can't even get
Night
into
Viper. I mean, there was a Night Viper dude. Well, who is it?
He's a Joe.
Oh, okay.
Now it'll take a long time for me to even remember these names off top.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
Not like a well-known.
Yeah, it was later in the GI
90s.
Joe. Yeah, the 90s. 90, okay. I think 91 or 92.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything from the 90s. I don't know any G.I. Joe stuff from the 90s at all. Once it hit 90, I was totally out of it. Like even 89, I like probably half of the 89 wave I probably had, but the rest I probably didn't have. Before that, I had like all of 88, all of 87, all of 86, most of 85, probably all of 85. The only ones I really never had was the OG, the first 13, the green shirts. Those I never had. I was too young.
Yeah, them green shirts, man.
My older cousin had them all.
Yeah, man. You can still get the green shirts. Y'all gonna get the green rest of them soon?
Yeah, they're getting ready to give us another tracker. What you and then of course we'll get the Off Striker here in a minute with Crankcase, and then they're doing Zap and Flash and all the lasers and all those guys.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. I can't wait to see what they do with them.
I can't wait for the Off Striker. like I said before, man, like out of all the stuff they had, like I had the flag and the Terradome and the Vipers and the Ravens and all that shit. And my favorite toys were the Awe Striker and the motorcycle, like the little stuff that just rolled the best, maneuvered the best, had the
Yeah,
best ability.
yeah.
It was just the best. So yeah, I can't wait for the classified Awe Striker that they're coming out. That's the next big vehicle that they're doing.
Mm.
But yeah, man. The Batman 2. So excited. The Batman 1 was great, and this is not going to be a case where, by the way, before we hop into that, I just want to say, like, I did finally look at Joker 2, Folie à Deux. Like, I tried to get through it. I couldn't get through it. It's so bad. Joaquin Phoenix, the star of it, actually is quoted famously as saying it is the worst movie ever made.
Oh, damn.
Like, end quote. It's the worst film ever made, he said. Obviously, it's not the worst film ever made, but it's goddamn close. I mean, it's bad. Like, and you can see that Joaquin did not even try a little bit, dog. Like, you can see him, like, it's like how you would imagine an actor, like, just sitting there, like, okay, they're paying me I'm under contract. I have to do this. I told them I didn't want to do it. They're forcing me to do it. Okay, you want me to run the lines? Run the lines. And he does it like that. And it's so obvious. And then they got the goofy little songs and stuff, and it just horrible directing. The script was trash. And Todd, the guy that directed it, he famously also said that he didn't want to do the movie. The studio forced him to make the movie, and he was just kind of doing this as a kind of fuck you to, okay, you want me to do it? There you go. And it shows. Like, I didn't think it was. I was like, it can't be that bad. It's that bad.
But isn't that in the whole scheme of it? Isn't that like the Joker, the villain would do? Like the Joker would do something terrible. He'll be like, you want something? I'll give you something. I mean, the most terrible shit in the world.
Yeah,
that's Joker. Somebody said that. I read an article the other day. I read an article the other day. I can't remember who it was by. I gotta look it up. But they said that Joker 2 will be a classic 20 years from now. I was like, well, that's the only people that's gonna want to watch it, because I guess by then we ain't gonna have nothing else to watch. So we're just gonna go back and watch Joker 2.
Yeah, that shit will never be a classic. The thing is like Joker 1 was so good, and it should have been a one shot. That should have never had a sequel. The filmmakers, they didn't want it to have a sequel. The studio, of course, this is how the studio works. This made money, let's do that again. That's all they care. They're not artists, they're not creatives, they don't get it. They're just studio guys that look at numbers and they're like, okay, you did X, Y, and Z and it made this money, let's do X, Y, and Z again. That's how they think.
Bunch of greedy.
That's all it is. Well, speaking of movies that's coming out, I've been keeping up with Superman. James Gunn said the trailer is locked and loaded.
Yeah, we about to get on that in a minute.
Yeah, we should be getting it around the 7th of December. But he's not. Around there. I was hoping or thinking of Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they were gonna drop it then. But
all right, we can jump over to that. Hang on. Yeah, we good.
Yeah.
We can skip over that.
Or the Super Bowl. Yeah, I thought that too. Because that would be where most of the country's eyes would be on, where you can feature that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe the Super Bowl might be too expensive. Because that's a lot of money for that airtime right then and there.
What? How many millions for 30 seconds or some
30 seconds? Yeah. That's a lot, man. They're making a lot of money in 30 seconds.
Well, James Gunn said recently on social media, he was like, he seemed to tease that the Superman trailer is complete. And, we have learned that the Superman trailer has been worked on for quite some time. Of course, at Comic-Con, they told us that it's a solid film and that the trailer has been being worked on for a long time. But yeah, Gunn also recently sounded if he was like putting the finishing, kind of last minute touches on it. And he said, I worked on it this weekend. And this was just a couple weeks ago. Regarded being locked and loaded, a fan questioned Gunn about the about when the Superman trailer is coming out, because of course the footage from Peacemaker season 2 is already dropped, and Marvel has been releasing trailers for Captain America and Thunderbolts, and they're like, what the fuck? And so yeah, he said it's Gunn said it's on my hard drive, but seriously, all three of those projects come out months before us. And
That's
he's
true.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like guys,
true. Yeah.
let's not push for trailers that are so far ahead of the movie. Like that's I hate that. I remember back in the day, we would get a trailer, and now a few months, maybe at the most, then we're gonna get to see this movie. Now they're putting trailers out
Right.
a year before and shit, and it's just like
Yeah, I
people
don't
lose
like that.
they lose interest.
Yeah, lose interest. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
especially like if the trailer is like, I like Thunderbolts. It's a lackluster trailer. I mean, do I
Yeah.
want to see a movie? Yeah, it might be
Yep.
good, but the trailer's not all that great. It's just okay. It shows you
Yep.
everybody's going to be in it. It
Yeah.
really doesn't tell you anything about the story or give you any. It's just like, all
Yeah, we
right,
got a 7-minute Thunderbolt trailer we're gonna look at on Wednesday for sure. It's a
yeah.
extended trailer. We'll check out and talk about Fantastic Four and all that good shit too. But Gunn has told fans that he's watched the cut of the Superman movie dozens of times, quote unquote. He's watched a cut of it. So the movie's there. He's watched it. He's watching it. They're tweaking it. Another fan remarked that since the promotional images of Peacemaker are complete, that it must mean that the Superman trailer is already done. Which Gunn saw, and shot back. He said, "You think?" And an eager fan waiting, awaiting a new David Cornsweat poster, also questioned if there's any updates to how the progress is going. And Gunn said, "It's moving quickly." Adding to another fan that the Superman movie is going really well. Thank you. But they're being very tight-lipped about anything. I mean, it's good, it's complete, it's ready. Okay, it's about but like relax. Like we're not going to tell you the plot of the movie. Like, and that's what people want. It's like they want to see the movie before the movie.
Well,
It's like no,
for the most part, it's people that want to know it so they can tell everybody else.
right?
Yes,
I want to
that's
get
exactly what it is. The
I
scoop,
want to get it
yeah,
first.
before everybody else gets it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and yeah, and he's with James Gunn, sort of like teasing that the trailer is complete. That lines up with the upcoming Comic-Con XP in December, and Comic-Con XP is one of the biggest pop culture fan conventions in the world, and is taking place on December 5th to the 8th. And we're guessing that Gunn will be bringing the DCU to the CCXP on Saturday, December 7th, which is when the Superman trailer will be released. So December 7th. He said, Brazil is always important to me. Gunn replied previously to a fan, but in Brazil, they already showed a bunch of shit that we didn't get to see yet. The D23 in Brazil and all that. So for some reason they get shit before we do. But James Gunn has told fans that he will not be at the CCXP. It's unknown if that means that the DCU will be there with or without him, or if the trailer will or will not be released during the convention. So that kind of fucked everything back up again. So when they asked him if he was coming to that in Brazil, he said no. So who knows? But as far as what we know so far, Superman starts July 11th, 2025. You got Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Edie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, Maria Gabriela Friera as the Engineer, and Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpho. So far, we also know what's his name is going to be like Luthor.
Crypto's going to be in the movie.
Is that the dog?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Crypto's
making up,
movie.
and we got the Daily Planet cast as well. Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen, Beck Bennett as Steve Lombard, Michaela Hoover as Kat Grant, and Christopher McDonald as Ron Trope. They also have Wendell Pierce as Perry White.
We get Kat Grant. That's digging deep, bro. Like if you go back to Kat, if you go to Kat Grant, that's deep. That's deep for Superman, because that's deep Superman lore. That's real deep. Yeah,
and that's what I love about it.
Book fan.
That's what I like about DC right now. I think the DCU rather, is gonna show the MCU how you adapt a comic. That's what I see. That's what I see happening. Because that's the MCU's biggest thing in my fault.
Because you put Kat Grant in there, like, come on, bro. That's real. That's
Deep
hardcore
dive.
DC. That's a real
Deep.
deep dive, man. Because
Uh,
Grant's got a real interesting story if they tell it. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Um,
Yeah, Millie
I don't know
Alcock is
how far.
also there to be Supergirl. Millie Alcock prior to her movie, which gets released in 2026. So she'll be in the movie Superman before her movie comes out.
And that's a good foundation. Bring
Yes,
for that movie. Like, oh, you show the
building.
character so you can move it out. You
Yes,
know,
exactly, and that's great. That's great. That is exactly right. It's like building a universe, a cohesive, unified, a real universe that's actually, that has recognizable people that you see again and again, and all that good stuff. So, and also that's how comics are, right? That's how comics are. If you compare any Superman movie to this, you have no other comic characters in these other movies. They're just about Superman as if he's the only superhero anyone on earth has ever heard of.
Just
And that
saying,
always bothered me. Yeah, that always bothered me because in comics, yeah, they know Superman, but they also know about the Justice League and everybody else and all these. It's like, so, man, I'm glad James Gunn they're giving him, the ability to kind of do whatever he wants, because a lot of filmmakers don't seem to have the balls to bring in these other characters. They don't either know how, or they're scared, how to do it, and they might fuck it up. But Gunn is great at ensembles and multi-character casts.
yeah. I hope he throws some zingers and some surprises. I think he will, but
Oh,
I would imagine there's one character that I know he wants to do it, and because I kind of feel that from him, like he can do this character super justice, and I think we touched upon it before, but
Lobo.
Plastic Man.
Oh, Plastic Man. Yeah, that would be dope. Yeah, he would. He would
mm,
do. He would do a good Plastic Man movie, and I think Plastic Man would be a great addition to this
He's
universe.
part of the Justice League.
Yeah, yeah, he needs to be represented. I agree.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Pruitt Taylor Vince is playing Jonathan Kent, who's also going to be in the movie. So again, all these characters: Martha Kent, played by Neva Howell. Sean Gunn is also there as Maxwell Lord. Sarah Sampio has been cast as Eve Tessmacher. Terrence Rosemore is playing Otis. So we got another Otis. Christopher Reeve's son will play. Who Will Reeve is also going to be in a cameo role, as of yet to be named. DC officially describes the film as telling the story of the Man of Steel's journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as Clark Kent of Smallville, Kansas. His is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way, guided by human kindness in a world that sees kindness as old-fashioned. That's sort of the plot. And, I hope that they do a little bit of, like in the comics right now, the Absolute comics, where they have, a little bit of a different Kryptonian background and stuff like that. So we may see some of that, and it's kind of what they're doing now, is making comics real quick before the movies come out, so they can say, "Look, it's from the comics."
Mhm.
And Superman, what does he say? James Gunn. He said, "Superman is the true foundation of our creative vision for the DC universe." He said, "Not only is Superman an iconic part of DC lore, he's also a favorite character for comic book readers, viewers of early movies, fans around the world. I can't wait to introduce our version of Superman, who audiences will be able to follow, get to know across films, movies, animation, and gaming." End quote. Because remember, in this DCU, there will be video games, animated movies, animated shows, TV shows, and movies. And if a character is in one of these, it's the same actor going to play him in all the others. So if there's a guy plays, Green Lantern in the movie, he's also going to voice Green Lantern in a video game, in an animated movie, and play him in the TV show. So that way nobody gets confused. Nobody's like, "Hey, wait, who is this now?" And that's not happening. One of the biggest complaints I have with the best thing that Marvel has on Disney Plus, which is probably the What If animated show, is that none of the actors are voiced by the real actors, or none of the characters are voiced by the actors that play them in the movie. And it's just like, what? You couldn't get these people to fucking voice a couple lines?
And
So
last was T'Challa, right? What you call it? Who played T'Challa? He did the voice for the What If when he was King. I forgot.
I don't know. I don't know. I just know that, like,
it was Star Lord T'Challa or something like that.
right, Robert Downey Jr. ain't in that bitch. Like, none of the actors are playing their real characters. It's just, I don't get why. I think it would make it so much better and feel so much realer But what's his name? Um, what's his name?
What you call it? T'Challa's sister. She voiced her character in What If.
They did get some of them. They did get some of them, I guess, but
not the big stars, not
the big ones. Yeah, exactly. Not the big ones.
Yeah.
And so
budget.
Yeah, exactly.
They had the budget, but they didn't have the budget. You know what I'm saying?
They cried budget, but give me a break.
Right.
And
with the superhero one, it saves money too. You know, if you create your contract across the board, you're saving because you don't have to negotiate anything new with a new voice person or what have you, a new actor for this one or that one.
Yeah. And what's his name? In one of these interviews, they were asking Gunn about like Christopher Reeves' Man of Steel influenced his own in 2023, asking how does one take this outrageous concept of a guy who flies around, turn him into something real. Going on to a further note, I think that what we're doing is different. It's its own thing, but I'm definitely influenced by what Richard Donner did with Superman and what Christopher Reeve did with Superman, and Margot Kidder, who's fantastic in the movie, and she's really the heart of it in a lot of ways. And honestly, if Lois Lane ain't as good as Margot Kidder, then they're gonna have a problem.
Exactly. Yeah. Margot Kidder is Lois Lane. Period.
Yeah.
And she brought a lot of emotion. If you ever watch, I usually watch Superman, the Richard Donner ones. I watch them maybe about once a year or something like that because I enjoy them. And if you really watch it, she puts a lot of emotion into playing Lois Lane. Like at the end of Superman, was it 2? When she was crying and she was like, I can't tell nobody about it. Like she was breaking it down. And then you got the music and the score and everything that's playing in the background. And she's really and that back and forth acting between them two, we don't get that anymore in a film where they're pouring their feelings out to each other, but it's just so well done. You believe it. Like you're like, man, and they're playing those roles. Like they're not like, oh, I'm in this movie. They're playing those roles. It's so elegant. It's just so well acted. And when you look at it, and like I said, the score on top of it, you like, damn, bro. And the way she was crying, and then he kissed her, then she forgot. Then you like, yeah, Superman. She don't know he's Superman or one. And you like, yes. And it's just great, man. The first 2 Superman films are the best Superman films ever made. Period. Point blank.
They're pretty good.
Even
the stuff we got after that was,
the back and forth between them in the newsroom, like on the floor in the newsroom. Like, how do you do that banter along with Perry White and everybody just bouncing off each other?
That. Yep.
It was just like the best, man, ever. That's my
that right there, Reno. That's another pivotal part of the film. That's just dope. Because right now they're showing off the score. Right. They're showing off the score. She's thinking in her head, like that's, can you read my mind? She's like, can you read my mind? And she's talking to him and she's doing this like eloquent speech in her head that all these things she wants to say to him, but it's stuck in her head. And she doesn't know if he can read her mind or not. And she keeps saying that, can you read my mind? Like, can you just, and it's just beautiful the way they're flying around. The music is playing, everything is, it's just beautiful to watch, man.
Yeah. Me and my son were just talking about this last night. You don't get the kind of like movies today. It's almost like you're watching something without a soul. It's like they don't have the richness that movies used to have, and for some reason, and I mean, you can kind of see the gradual decline. I don't know, but this is one of the best suits. That's so iconic. It looks so much like. Look at this, and compared to this, this suit is horrible to me. I really didn't like this at all. But and then you hop over to this thing, which is more of like an alien thing, which is like a weird alien suit, and then you go back to kind of this one kind of again, and then we're over here, which kind of draws back from this one again, and then now we've got this one, which is kind of a cross between this one, and then we got this one.
The Lois and Clark ones, the TV show, not the this one, the one with what you call it, who played Superman back in the '90s, early '90s TV show. Is it Lois and
Um,
Clark and Lois or something like that?
I don't
Lois.
know. This is Lois and Clark right here.
No, no, no. There was another one,
Oh,
a TV
Oh
show.
yeah, the other Lois and Clark, the '90s one.
Yeah,
yeah, I
The
don't
'90s
have that
Lois
one.
and Clark.
I
Yeah,
just have
yeah, the
these
'90s
ones.
Lois and Clark. Yeah.
yeah.
Even
But yeah,
Zod, the
he.
guy. What's the name of the guy that plays Zod in the second Superman? I forget his
Oh,
name. Bro,
Larry Nance,
Uh-huh.
yeah, he was Zod. Like
Larry Nance or something.
he was. Yeah, and he was cool with it too. Like bow, kneel before Zod. Like, like, bro,
Yeah,
it was just dope. Superman 2 was the dopest Superman movie ever, man. That joint
and
was
that
just
actor, man, he goes on to do pivotal gangster roles and
Yeah.
non. His roles are non, like it's like he threatens you, but non-threatening. He's a polite villain.
Right.
Very
Terrence Stamp. That's his name. Terrence Stamp.
Terrence Stamp.
Terrence Stamp. Yeah,
Yeah, a
yeah,
polite
Yeah. I
villain.
mean, he was
He's
fucking. He
Superman.
was the limey. He was the limey.
Yeah, the limey.
The limey was the shit. If you ain't seen the limey, bro, go watch the
yeah.
limey. That was.
Yeah,
Hello,
the
Mike.
polite villain.
Coming.
Like if I had to fight a villain,
Like
I would
Terrence.
want to fight him because he's a
Yeah.
polite villain. He'll
Yeah, he's like a gentleman. Yeah.
yeah, gentleman villain. Like yo,
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
man.
even
He's
the way,
that is
like the way he portrayed it, like he'd be like son of Jor-El,
Yeah,
like
right.
that's Superman lore right there. You know what I mean? He didn't even call him Kal-El, son of Jor-El. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
are you scared to face me? You know what I
He
mean?
said,
It's
"You're
Zod.
used to worshiping things that fly."
Mm,
Yeah, you're used to worshiping things that fly.
word.
And he telling him like, yo, like it was just dope. Like his demeanor that he
Mhm.
used when he played Zod, it was just it actually helped the role, just bring it out. Like it made you believe like he was Zod. And then they got it right with Ursa and then Nong. Nong
Ursa.
didn't talk. He was
Yeah.
dead. He was mute. In the
Mhm.
comic he was mute. Yeah, he was mute in
Yeah.
the comic. But he was strong. He was very strong. He was strong for a Kryptonian without a young son.
Yeah.
And Ursa O, the one thing I like about the new one with Henry Cavill was that they actually explored her character even more in there, because in the comics she is ruthless like that. She's ruthless. She is 100% for Zod, and whatever he does, she backs him up 100%. And when she was beating up Superman and talking to him, she was giving him work. It was nothing he can do. But in the comics, she is a very good hand-to-hand combatant.
Mhm.
And being as that she's just as strong as he was, she was giving him work. But in the Superman '80s film, they really didn't portray that too well because you
Mhm.
can't have a woman beating up. But
Well, she
in
was
this
a
newer film, I like the way they put that.
model too. The actress that played her,
Oh,
in,
from
she was a model as well. And
was she?
pretty, yeah. Actress
Oh,
and model, yeah.
yeah, Sarah. What's her name? Sarah Douglas. Sarah Douglas.
Yeah.
And she was a little fox back then too, in that little,
yeah,
little
yeah,
black
yeah.
Superman joint. Yeah, she was a little fox in that little joint. I could just imagine. But what did I don't remember anything else she played in though.
Hold on.
Besides, she was in one of the Swamp Thing movies. I remember that. But other than that, I can't remember anything. Oh, you know what she played in? Conan.
Yes.
Conan the Destroyer. That's
Yeah.
what she played in. Because she had a little good run right around in Superman 2, Conan, Turn the Swamp Thing. Like she had a little run there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember anything else she played in after that. Man. I really just don't.
Well, speaking of the DC universe and new female castings, the show that I think I'm probably most excited about, or project that I'm probably one of the things I'm most excited about, definitely from the DCU, is the Green Lantern show, Lanterns, because I'm a big fan of True Detective, and it's supposed to be like True Detective. And there is a new casting. We got the casting already for our Hal Jordan. We got our casting for our Jon Stewart. And now the new casting is Purna Jagannathan. Okay, and I'm sure I butchered that to hell. but she is a I believe Indian woman, and she's been cast in a recurring role in this upcoming series, Lanterns. And the show based on DC Comics Green Lantern character John Stewart and Hal Jordan as kind of like a buddy cop drama, a thriller. It's like you got to watch True Detective to get it. It's a dark, you know, sort of like a dark thriller about cops and crime. Not cop, more like detectives that are kind of like on the fringes that deal with some weird shit, and it's just really cool. It's a
And
great
that's what they
show
are.
on HBO.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's what they are. Green
they're
Lanterns are
cops.
space cops. Let's just
Yeah,
keep it a buck. Space
Mm.
cops. That's what they do. They
yeah,
police outer space and the
and
planets that reside in it, and that's just what they do. So like, I think it's a positive direction in the move because when we got that last Green Lantern film, it didn't even touch on that. It didn't even it
mhm.
didn't even explain to you what a Green Lantern was, what his purpose was. It was Ryan Reynolds. They had a couple special effects, and
Oh, that's who you're
that
talking
was
about,
it.
Dean
And I'm
Cain,
like,
Superman. Dean
yeah, Dean
Cain
King.
played Superman.
Yeah,
That was
Dean
Superman.
King.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
But this
Sarah,
is
yeah.
and Sarah, she was in V, the final battle. She was the blonde headed chick that Diana had beef with in V, the final battle. Remember
Oh
um,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
blonde headed
I forgot.
visitor, the chick. She was
yeah,
thick as hell too.
Yeah,
but that's
yes, she
Purna
was. I was looking up with that.
Jagannathan.
Is that her?
No, this is the new casting
Yeah,
for
Green Lantern.
Lanterns. Yeah, Purna Jagannathan. This is the new casting that they're telling us that they've announced now for the Lanterns show, the DC Green Lantern show, based on a True Detective type buddy cop thriller genre that they're talking about. She's going to play a character named Zoe, who is described as effortlessly confident and poised in any setting, even where she stands out. She is every bit as composed and cunning of the influential men around her. End quote. She previously starred in HBO limited series The Night of, which was actually a really good show, little mini series called The Night of. And she played Safar Khan in the show. She's also known for her role in a Netflix comedy, Never Have I Ever, and will appear in an upcoming Onyx Collective series, Deli Boys, at Hulu. In film, she recently starred in Wolves with George Clooney and Brad Pitt, which I just saw, which was actually really good. It was actually pretty cool. Compared to a movie from back in the day,
Yeah, I want to see that too. Yeah, I haven't had a
yeah,
chance to watch that yet.
but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, they play some cool characters. Seeing Clooney and Pitt kind of play off each other and kind of make fun of each other. It's pretty funny. And then Turtles All the Way Down, Mile 22, and The Circle are some other films that she's doing. And she's repped by Gersh, Untitled, and Hanson Jacobson. The show is produced by HBO in association with Warner Brothers Television and DC Studios. It was picked up for 8 episodes. Okay, HBO has done Penguin so far for DC, and we all know HBO is definitely the gold standard for television, for shows. Sopranos and Game of Thrones. I mean, 2 of the best shows ever, and I mean, just on and on. The list, is endless. Anytime I know they're doing an HBO show, I know it's going to be good. Like they're just always good. And you know, taking on the Penguin, I was a bit apprehensive. Wow, I mean, we talked about it Wednesday. Finale was incredible. Like we can go on for hours on that, but yeah, Lanterns, them doing this show. If it's any bit as good as Penguin, we're definitely in for a treat. And it's co-written by Chris Mundy, Damon Lindelof, and Tom King. Okay, so for those who don't know this name, Damon Lindelof, Game of Thrones. Tom King, one of the best comic writers rather, out there. And he's a comic writer doing movies. I think Stu was saying the other day, why don't Jonathan Hickman do screenplays? I mean, this is basically DC's Jonathan Hickman doing screenplays. So very excited. And they're all executive producers along with James Hawes, and Hawes also directing the first 2 episodes. But yeah. Very promising. Very, very promising. Um, the casting news, cool. Nothing super exciting about that, but other than that, HBO has their Peacemaker show also. So DC's just basically DC is using HBO for their shows, which is just fuck of a lot better than Disney Plus. So they have it all over Marvel with the shows. Um, Peacemaker we already saw. I think we all agree was a phenomenal show. Really cool. So that's coming back for season 2, but now it's going to be part of this new universe. So it was part of the DCEU. Now it's part of the DCU. And how they're going to reconcile that and make that make sense is going to be very interesting. But this new footage kind of is quick, but it shows the majority of the returning characters, as well as our first glimpse of Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., which they are so proud of that casting. They keep talking about it. Before the season debuts, though, we will hear him in Creature Commandos, because he's also, again, like I said, the character Rick Flag is going to be in this TV show. It's also going to be in the Creature Commandos animated show, and he's also going to be in the Superman film. So the same guy's playing a character in a TV show, an animated show, and a film. So we're seeing proof that they are really uniting this universe. As of right now, we know the season will debut sometime after Superman, putting it sometime in the latter half of 2025. But no specific date has been announced yet. James Gunn wrote the entire season and will direct multiple episodes as he did season 1. So very cool. Returning cast is, of course, going to include John Cena as Peacemaker, Danielle Brooks as Leota, Freddie Storma as Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante. Was a very cool, fun character that we have fun with. Made me buy a comic. I got a Vigilante comic right there just because that show he was so funny. He was a great character. Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt and Steve Agee as John Economos. And then the new additions are Sol Rodriguez as Shasha Bordeaux and Tim Meadows as Langston Glury. Tim Meadows, that's funny. I haven't seen him in forever. Other than that, for DCU, not much going on right now. So hopping on over to the Elseworlds banner, guys. And so remember, this is not a part of the DCU. The Batman is a separate universe. It is not the Batman that we're going to see in the DCU that's going to be related to the James Gunn stuff, okay? That's going to have its own Batman that's going to be debuted in a movie called The Brave and the Bold, also having Damian Wayne, Robin, as a sidekick. So whole different universe, will be a whole different actor. They're talking about Jensen Ackles, maybe, which is a very, I think, fitting casting. It's not who I would pick to play Batman in the Matt Reeves universe, but it's who I would pick to play Batman in a more maybe even campy, more comic-y, hopefully the blue and gray costume Batman universe.
He did the voice for Batman as well.
Yes, he's already voiced him. He's got the voice down. He played Soldier Boy in The Boys, is who you may recognize him recently from. Yeah,
he's from that thing from CW. What's that?
I don't know. I don't watch CW. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know from
it's Sam Winston. They were hunting down demons and stuff.
Oh, what, like Constantine shit or something?
Yeah, stuff. That's what they did. Hunt down demons. Oh, fucking called the Winchesters. Hold on.
Nice.
Winchester.
Well, the Batman season, or the Batman part 2, everybody's big question is who's going to be the villain. That's what everybody wants to know. And the first movie impressed audiences with the realism, the sort of realistic style, but also keeping it comic, but also with a new approach, almost on a horror. Like the movie Seven was very kept jumping out at me while I was watching it, so it had that kind of vibe to it. And now excitement is definitely growing for its sequel. But obviously the big question is who will be the villain. We had the Riddler. We saw this this deleted scene, this Joker scene that, in my opinion, had the worst, like one of the worst looking Jokers I've ever seen. But I guess that's the point. But official details are definitely limited, right? So, but we can definitely look at clues from the first movie, the Penguin series, a lot of fan discussions with a lot of insiders and things like that. And could it be a familiar, sort of enemy like Penguin, or a mainstream, Joker or something like that, or a new threat, maybe a lesser known, maybe a Scarecrow, maybe a Clayface, maybe even a more unknown. Hopefully
Man,
not. Man, go crazy, right? Man, bad. But is it gonna be something super like out of otherworldly, or is it going to be something based in reality? We can definitely consider these possibilities, like the Scarecrow, Hugo Strange, that kind of thing, or Solomon Grundy, Killer Croc, other Man Bat, but a lot of fans are definitely eager to hear this news about this villain, and find out who this is going to be. So, despite many theories, there has been no official word on who the villain's going to be, which makes fans, wonder a lot about the different options, which we're going to talk about, and how some of them are impossible now for different reasons, and some of them that I think are really likely, and some that I think are very probable. Rumors, though, and hints from the Penguin series have started a lot of conversations about potential villains. A lot of fans think that Hush may make an appearance, which we've been being hinted since the first movie. We saw that Hush sort of hint in the first movie, and some things we picked up from the Penguin show. A lot of others are hoping that the deleted scene, the Joker, is going to be, the sort of harbinger there, and let us know it's going to be Joker. Plot details for the sequel completely under wraps, nothing hinted, adding a lot to the excitement. The choice of the villain will greatly affect the film's tone and direction, right? It's basically what the movie will be about. And as Batman's growth, his challenges, because remember, it's very early in his career, and this movie, just like the Penguin show, is going to take place right in the same time, place, right, days after, kind of thing. And so, it's not a seasoned Batman. And so, as the production continues, fans are analyzing every little piece and bit of information for clues about the upcoming villain and who this might be. One of the big obvious thing is the Penguin. We know he's definitely going to be there. We know he's going to be the prince, or the Dawn of Gotham, the bad boy, the boss of it all. And a lot of fans think that's the obvious, it's the Penguin. What are you talking about? Colin Farrell will not be the main villain in the upcoming movie. A lot of fans feel that they said it would be repetitive to have him as the main villain, and be boring, and again so soon after the HBO show. And a lot of people think, well, the HBO show is telling us the reason they did the show is so that they can have him as the main villain and kind of be able to skip his origin and just hop right into him. And so you have a lot of, what do you guys think as far as the Penguin? Just not talking about anyone else yet, just the Penguin alone. What do you guys think? Yes or no, Penguin?
I think no. I think they'll have parts and pieces, because remember, he's buddy with the congressman. So he's going to be endorsing that legitimate side of his business. So you'll see him in news clips throughout that movie, I believe. And that's it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Stu, what about you? Penguin, yes or no, and why?
Nah. Or just keep it the way it is. Because if you're gonna do another movie after this one, you could make Penguin the big bad after you saw his rise in power in this TV series, and then he's just becoming more powerful. He's just not. I say no because he's not powerful enough yet. He's not. We don't have the Iceberg Lounge or anything like that. And he's just not as solidified as he should be. But you could portray that in this next movie and have another villain. Because in every Batman, they always had two villains. So Penguin could be the second villain, rising in power. And by the time we get to the third movie, he's there. But as of right now, nah.
I
He
think
just doesn't have enough power yet. He's not Penguin yet.
Yeah. Very,
He's still
very, very,
He's still
very
Oswald. It's still
right.
Oswald. It's still
Well,
Oswald. They
for
just
me,
didn't call it
for
Oz.
me, like I feel like Penguin is the kingpin right now of Gotham. He's like Kingpin. He's now consolidated all the gangs. By the end of the show, he's wiped out every other gang. The Falcones, the Maronis, they're gone. All the smaller gangs are now under him. He's now got the penthouse overlooking Gotham. He's the kingpin of Gotham, and I think in the movie, he'll be just that. But I don't think that makes him the main focus. So I agree with you guys. I don't think he's going to be the main villain that we're going to be looking for in this movie. I think he'll be there. He'll be like Kingpin, but he'll be in the background dealing with the mafia and that kind of Kingpin type shit that he does. But there'll be someone that Batman's focused on, someone he's trying to stop, someone specifically. I think it's going to be someone more of like a I'm hoping for a Clayface or a Scarecrow type thing, but we have Asylum, or we have Arkham the Asylum, and several theories point to Arkham Asylum and its mysteries as a key part of the sequel, right? The drug bliss that we saw all through the Penguin show, Dr. Julian Rush, his experiments against, they sort of suggest a villain connected to an Arkham type thing, and this could be Scarecrow, it could be Professor Pig, it could be Hugo Strange, it could be all these different guys, and each of these villains offer unique possibilities for exploring the dark side of Gotham and Batman's psyche. You have Scarecrow, right, the master of fear, right? He's Scarecrow could like prey on Batman's fears and vulnerabilities, and it kind of fits into that Seven type horror movie type, that kind of vibe that they were doing with the first one. Really works like in that vein. And then kind of he can like force Batman to confront his inner demons and make that sort of an existential part of the movie. It could be a thrilling psychological battle between these two iconic characters. And then of course Professor Pig, you had the disturbing surgeon, like Mengele, right, kind of guy, terrifying villain, right? He does the grotesque experiments. He's very probably be working on Sophia Falcone in that, and like he could bring a truly disturbing, like twisted sort of Silence of the Lambs type element to the film, and push the boundaries of that horror tone, and really
just
make
what Moses just said. I was just thinking that.
Yep. And then of course the third option in that is what's his name? Hugo Strange, right? He's kind of the mastermind, right? He kind of, or it could be a combination of all three of these guys, right? It could be just call it an Arkham, is the villain. You got Hugo Strange in there, Pigs doing crazy shit, Scarecrow is out there fucking with the population. Hugo Strange is a very brilliant psychologist, very manipulative, kind of controls others, more of a puppeteer type guy. He could be a puppet master behind the scenes, sort of orchestrating the events to test, Batman's psychological limit. Because we know Batman has a very psychological side, and we can get into all that. But then, of course, you got Oz as the Kingpin in the back. But as far as the Arkham theory, guys, what do you guys think? As far as Arkham, if they did that, would you think it would be more of a Scarecrow, a Pig, or a Hugo Strange?
I just put in a comment because Joe Masseri, he says Court of Owls or the Talon Harvey Dent.
Before we get on to other villains, I just want to keep it.
I'm just saying to correlate that, like the Arkham. Remember, the Court of Owls built Arkham.
Yeah.
So having Arkham as a character, you got to think about that whole societal thing,
right?
With it, so it may be even deeper than we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Because they may be going, yo, we're gonna blow this whole thing out, but we're gonna give you pieces and pieces here and there, and the deep cuts.
Yes.
That way you can appreciate what rises from that.
Yes.
So
I think Court of Owls is where I was gonna go next. That was my next question for y'all. But as far as Arkham, if it was gonna be out of like Scarecrow, Professor Pig, like super like a more of a Scarecrow, more of a comic-y where he's out, fucking with the population, or like a Professor Pig where it's some real like serial killer twisted horror shit, or like Hugo Strange where it's a big psychological thriller.
I think it's maybe a combination of Hugo Strange and The
One of the others.
Scarecrow.
Or Scarecrow, yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's what I think too. If it was gonna be Arkham, I think it
Yeah.
would. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they may do all three. Like, yo, that's their whole little crew. How they
Right,
meddle with things.
right.
If I had to pick based on this, the way they did the Batman, or
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Black Mask, it would have to be Black Mask
Mm.
because
Well,
he
I mean,
fits
just
in that.
out of these three, out of Scarecrow,
Out of
Professor
those,
Pig, or Hugo
Scarecrow,
Strange.
Professor Pig, and Hugo Strange, I
Yeah,
would go with Scarecrow. Scarecrow, Pig would be too. That's too deep for any casual
too
fan.
grotesque.
That's too
Yeah,
deep. Yeah, that's too.
yeah,
It's too deep for the casual fan. It would make for a good movie if you wrote it well, but you got to write it well. Um,
yeah,
but if I had to say, I would go with Scarecrow. Scarecrow would be good with the
yeah. I
fear
agree.
toxin and all that. That would be good
Yeah,
for Batman because
yeah,
it's messing with his mind and all that. I mean,
yeah.
there's so many. He has so many villains that you could do for that universe. I mean, like
Right.
me, because they want to stick with
That being
the gangster
that
thing. You could do Black Mask. Black Mask would fit really well
Yeah,
into
and,
that.
and that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Black Mask is one of those that fits the more realistic tone, even
Mm.
though it could. But Matt Reeves has definitely expressed his desire to explore the deeper corruption in Gotham, and that would definitely include Two Face, the Court of Owls for sure. Maybe Talon would be in there, but Two Face would definitely could represent the duality of the justice and the corruption. I personally, Two Face is up there to me like with Joker. Like he's one of my all-time favorite villains of comics. Definitely one of my favorite Batman villains, just because I love the imagery, the pinstripe gangster suit, the flipping the coin. He's got the fedora. He's just got that 20s gangster vibe. I just really dug that. And just for that same reason, Ventriloquist is another villain that no one talks about. That would be very dope to see. Ventriloquist is highly underrated.
I mean, even the
Even the Mad
Hatter.
Hatter, the Mad Hatter.
Mad
Yeah,
Hatter.
that's
Mad
another
Hatter.
underrated.
Hatter.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
he got a lot. I mean,
yeah.
if they could pull it off, they could pull off Mr. Freeze too. They could, or Ra's
Nah,
al Ghul.
right. Race is too big. Race is too big.
Race is
But I
dope though,
like it.
but they've done
I
him
like it,
before.
but it's too big. Race
Yep.
is big. Race is too big, but I like it.
But
You
you
know.
can bring Race in as now you're gonna build into Robin too.
Right.
You bring in that Robin aspect, the one
Yeah.
we
Or we
know.
could just, you know what? Or we could just go straight up. If you take Pig out and you want to go sort of like that murdering, whatever,
Yeah,
you could just put Zaz, Victor Zaz.
Victor
Yeah.
Victor
Zsasz.
Zaz is one of Zaz is a straight serial killer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And what I mean, he slits throats.
I
And then
think
Marcus
Zaz
Garvey,
works.
you
He
could
should
you
be
could
he should
yeah.
be in the movie. Yeah, he should be in the movie. I think a lot of villains should be in the I want to see James Gunn. If James Gunn had this universe, you would see a Zaz, you'd see a Hugo Strange, you see a Scarecrow, you see Pig, you see all the motherfuckers in one movie, and it would be dope. Court of
Yeah.
Owls, you would definitely have the corruption, you would have Two
Definitely,
Face.
yeah.
But one that I'm really, 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 really hoping for is Clayface and
Clayface.
Hush. Clayface and Hush is
Yeah,
a tie for
Clayface, I
me.
would love to
Like,
see. Yeah, yeah,
my,
Clayface, I would
my
love to see.
my top choices are Clayface and Hush. Those are my top two favorite that I want to see that we've never seen really in a movie that I think are really good fitting for this universe and are just dope. Are just dope.
But then he just
Scarecrow we've seen all these other guys.
but
Sorry,
he
go
did
ahead.
the Riddler, and that was kind of like a Hush in a way. That Riddler.
It was
Yeah,
like
it
a Hush,
was.
but it wasn't Hush, but it
It
was like
was. It
but
wasn't
that's
Hush, but it
why I
was like
think
Hush.
Hush fits. And they talked about Hush in that first movie. They did throw Easter eggs about Hush in that first movie. So you're right. They could have been. It could have been that Riddler could have been almost a cross between Riddler and Hush, and that kind of been our Hush fix. That might be our we're getting out of Hush. So Clayface might be a better thing to hang on to. But ultimately the identity of the main villain definitely remains a mystery. Matt Reeves has a knack for subverting expectations and delivering compelling stories, regardless, and definitely surprising the fuck out of people. But whoever he does pick, we can expect to be a thrilling and unforgettable cinematic experience. But I found this cool little chart thing.
But also, I want to add something. Like, keep in
Yeah.
mind the villains that we're naming off, like the I think they're gonna go for the villains that are not as notable because
Right,
remember, in the Matt Reed, what was it? Not Matt Reed. What you call it? Nolan's Batman. Um, he already did Scarecrow. He already did Bane. He already
Firefly.
did of course the Joker and stuff like that. So
right.
he may go in a direction where you get the Hugo Strange.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
you know, you want to introduce more characters into the mythos and in the universe because we already seen the other characters in different renditions. Even Ray
Yeah.
Shao. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think Clayface we've never seen.
yeah, Clay.
No.
And Hush we've never seen, but we've kind of
Hush.
seen similar. But
Croc.
Hush would really
Croc.
fit.
You never really seen.
Croc we never
We
seen, but
seen
doesn't really fit this universe.
Yeah,
Killer
That's
Moth. We never seen. Somebody put Killer Moth.
yeah.
Never
yeah.
seen that. Mad Hatter. We never
Well,
seen
here
him.
they got a chart.
Man Bat.
It says yeah, Man Bat. But out of the ones that kind of fit that universe, they kind of came up with this little chart for Batman too. They have the Penguin at the top. They said the pros of the Penguin is established presence in the universe. Colin Farrell, we already know, is killing it, so that's a good pro.
Oh, he's
Cons,
getting,
it might feel. Say what?
he's getting the Emmy. He's getting his
Oh yeah,
Emmy.
yeah. Cons, it might feel repetitive after his own series, or it may not offer enough depth for a main villain. Scarecrow, pros, thematic fit with fear and psychology, definitely fits the theme. Potential for a thrilling battle of minds. Cons, might retread familiar ground from previous Batman's films. Of course, we've already
Well, for
seen
Scare.
Scarecrow.
Wait. For Scarecrow.
Yeah,
What?
because remember,
We've already had him in the movie.
Nolan,
We've already seen him.
we
Yeah,
saw him
Nolan.
twice in the Nolan movies.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
battle with the minds with Scarecrow. I don't.
Well, you know, Race hired Scarecrow
He's a
for
he's
the
a
for the mind altering drug that they poured into Gotham.
Yeah, he's all
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
altering the mind and shit.
Yeah.
Hallucinations.
Mind
Yeah.
altering. Yeah,
Yeah.
hallucination.
His fear toxin causes hallucinations.
Yeah. And then Mr. Professor Pig brings a truly disturbing element. Yes, very disturbing. Could push the boundaries of the darker tone. Yeah. Cons might be too graphic or disturbing for some viewers.
That's right.
Uh,
That's what I said. Yeah, it might be too much.
yeah,
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 Professor
Yeah.
Pig might be a little too much.
yeah. Hugo Strange offers a unique intellectual challenge for Batman. Could be a mastermind behind other villains. Yeah, Hugo Strange could be there anyway, whether it was Clayface or Scarecrow or whoever. You could still have Hugo Strange there. 3 might be less visually exciting than other options. Yeah, he's just a guy with round glasses. There's not much, but if they make him look like how he looks in the comics, it could be cool. Clayface, yeah, Clayface fits the themes of the identity and duality, and could be visually stunning villain. 3 might be challenging to adapt convincingly. I don't think we would talk about the Clayface like the big monster. It wouldn't be that Clayface. It would be one of the earlier or one of the Clayfaces where it's like an actor dude who has his face and he can change his face and shit. Right?
Yeah.
That's Clayface, and the guy that morphs into all kind of shapes and shit like from the cartoon. That wouldn't fit this universe. This universe, remember, is definitely grounded in a more reality based setting, with more less supernatural shit
and a little bit noir to it, like a touch of it, where
yes,
you're doing those noir.
like the original,
and that's why we need to go.
Clayface was.
Yeah,
And
they have
that's
a
why we
nice
need to go
Clayface.
with Black Mask or Anarchy. I think Anarchy would be a dope villain to do for the Batman too. And now it's like 3 or 4 of them, but depending on which one you do, they all fit. I mean, the first one is the first one he was a teenager, but he still was that dude. You know what I mean? And he had improvised gadgets, and he used like in the comics, he made these gadgets that like subverted the government, like tech or like I don't know, like got their missile commands. Like he did a lot,
yeah.
and then
Hacker.
he had a political agenda, and that political agenda he pushed on people. Sort of like what we're going through now with Donald Trump. But people like they really believed in him. They really was like wearing the anarchy symbols and Gotham. It was good. The anarchy story, that was good. I liked that, man. I really did. I really thought that was like, and that's kind of based in reality if you really think about
Yeah,
it.
that would be a big. That would be a big. Yeah, that would be a big surprise. That would be something that Matt Reeves would drop on everybody and be like, "Oh shit!" That the Court of Vows they didn't put on here. I think that really fits too, just like that. And but they did put Hush. They said pros for Hush with personal connection to Bruce Wayne, potential for a complex and emotional story, also a potential for a nice twist ending and something very like mysterious and like a whodunit and something that they would definitely benefit from changing who Hush is, much like they did in the cartoon animated movie, which kind of ruined it if you knew the comic book story. But it was done so that it wouldn't ruin it because you knew who it was from the comic already when they did the animated. So they did change it, but I don't think they did a good job. But they could do a better job. Con is might require significant backstory exposition. There's a lot to explain with Hush, so that is a con. And then their last, yeah, it's a lot to it. And it's a lot of, but it's a lot of characters in that in that comic, and I think it'd be a great. I hope they do one day do a live action Hush movie one day. That would be cool, but not for this one. But yeah, Mr. Freeze offers a more sympathetic villain because remember he does have a very sad story, and could explore themes of loss and grief. Yeah, for real. Might not fit the grounded tone of the universe. Yeah, having a guy walk around and with a big cold suit blasting people with cold rays is a little bit out of the tone that Matt Reeves is trying to capture with his universe. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I mean, or Mr. Freeze, they can do it in a way where he's not that dude with the cold ray. He can be a scientist that
yeah.
That does strange shit too. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you said it once. What was it? You said he freezes. What was it? You said something. Yeah, because you said this before. You said he didn't freeze you with a freeze ray, but he freezes you some type of mental thing. I forget what you said. Do you remember?
And he has a whole. He's a murderer. He's just a murderer. He puts you on ice, literally.
He puts you on ice. Yeah. That's what it was.
Real gangster shit.
Yeah.
Or if you want to stay with that, like I said, or Calendar Man. A lot of people forget about Calendar Man.
No shit.
You know, he commits crimes that correspond with holidays. You know what I mean? Yeah. He sometimes wears costumes. Holidays. He don't have to wear a costume all the time. I mean, it would be. He's more like a Hannibal Lecter. He's more like a Hannibal Lecter, to be honest with you. It would be a good. That would be a good. That would be a good one. But because it almost fits with the Riddler theme that they had in the last one, but just on a different level. Because Calendar Man's on a way different level.
Yeah. But Joe said in the chat that he thinks that they'll stay away from any villains redundant to Riddler, serial killer, or psych thriller. He's saying it's going to be redundant, but I think the world is building like that.
He's right. He's right though. He's either right or they're going to stay in that vein because that's the universe that they're building. It's a very much like Seven, like dark, like you said, noir, horror, psychological realism universe that the whole Matt Reeves Batman universe has created. So it could be they're going to stay in that vein, and I don't think it'll be redundant if they do it well, if it's done right. Hush film pissed me off when they made that change really fucked it up. It was sad. Say Mr. Freeze for the DCU. Thank you, Slade. I agree there. I think Freeze is much better for the DCU. Mr. Freeze, we kept the cold at that point, right? Yeah. Clock King, that's another one.
There's one that I think we missed and maybe.
Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah, but I think this one is a special one, and we've seen her before. Poison Ivy.
Right. We've seen her before.
No. Poison Ivy was so horrible.
But I'm saying he can make this one. She's real sick, and she poisons motherfuckers, literally.
Oh, right. All right. Yeah, like she's just a serial killer, poisoner. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, we need to do the electrocutioner. I mean, I'd be.
Do all
Well,
of it.
this they wrote here. They wrote the Batman spinoff convinced me that two villain theories are already impossible for the sequel movie, and they say Mr. Freeze or Clayface would be out of place in a Matt Reeves Batman universe. He says. Additionally, these characters would have a significant advantage over other criminals in Gotham. Many of these characters could rise to the top quickly, with Penguin and Joker being their only rivals. A Clayface mystery story could be worthwhile, with Batman constantly being tricked by Basil Karlo's changing form, but it would feel too goofy in Reeves' gritty and rounded universe. And grounded universe. He said the same can be said for Mr. Freeze, who has a complex backstory, but he wouldn't fit the tone of the Batman with the Penguin that the Penguin and Batman have established. He said, I still want to see Batman's more fantastical villains, but in James Gunn's DCU. And he's talking about these guys. And you see that dude with the pig face right there?
Yes, that's Professor Pig.
Professor Pig, yeah. And what's interesting.
That's why I said Black Mask. Black Mask would be Black Mask.
And we seen Black Mask.
Oh
no, we didn't.
So, but for the James Gunn DCU movie, right? They're doing Brave and the Bold, and this is Damian Wayne, Batman and Robin, Damian Wayne, and this just came out. This is what's his name, McFarlane's Page Puncher comes with Robin, Damian Wayne, and for some reason I couldn't figure out why it comes with a broken Professor Pig mask. Which leads me to believe Professor Pig is definitely in the plans to be in somebody's Batman movie. And I think it's going to be the Batman movie with Damian Wayne, which is the DCU, which is cool, which is what we're talking about here. And then you got these guys like you guys said, Poison Ivy, Mad Hatter, there's Penguin there, Two-Face, obviously, and the Riddler and stuff like that. But some of these more odd ones. And this says the beauty of the DCU Elseworlds project exists separately from the mainline. Reeves' Batman universe can coexist with the DCU's Batman, since the DCU is set in a fantasy world with characters like Superman, Supergirl, Green Lantern, and the Creature Commandos. Batman's fantastical villains fit perfectly in this universe. Reeves' universe can be more grounded side of Batman, while the DCU explores the more supernatural and mystical characters within Batman's catalog. This is something I highly agree with. I don't agree that Clayface couldn't be in the movie, that they couldn't make it like a more Basil Karlo, a more one of the more original Clayface versions with something more psychological. But I do agree that he's saying what he's saying about the DCU being a place for the more supernatural, more mystical, fantastical villains, and the Reeves universe being for the more grounded serial killer, psycho type bad guys, even court of owls, corruption, political, that kind of shit, which is just as compelling and it would be just as cool and dope. It says the Penguin and the Batman have a unique tone setting that doesn't need to include characters that could be used in the DCU. Some characters like Joker or Harvey Dent can be used in both timelines, but others like Poison Ivy or Mr. Freeze would stick out like a stone thumb in the Reeves universe. Other rumored villains like the Court of Owls would fit the Batman Part 2 better, especially with Reeves' focus on the Batman's skills as a detective. Mr. Freeze and Clayface are still excellent villains, and Gunn could use them brilliantly.
You can say Phantasm too. We can go the Phantasm route.
Yeah, you could do it. I mean, but you know,
Brother Eye. We do Brother Eye. There's a lot we can do.
Yo, he has a fucking litany of psychopaths.
Oh, bro, anybody that you know would try to fucking here it is. I was trying to find Mighty Rax. I knew he said something about Phantasm earlier, but yes, I think Batman has the best rogues gallery in comics.
Yeah, he said the Phantasm.
What we could do? Here's what we could do that nobody thought of. That would be real dope. Maximilian Zeus. That would fit right in that universe like a glove. You know what I mean? Because he used to be a teacher. He used to be like a history teacher, and he just went crazy and thought he was really Zeus and and invented like a lightning weapon that would throw lightning bolts at you like Zeus would. That'd be dope. It would fit.
Nah, that's the Fantastic.
Yeah. No, sir, that's not the fantastical. No. How? He's a former history teacher.
Yeah, but still the tone
the
tone would be a dude that shoots lightning bolts.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
but
no, yeah,
he doesn't shoot him. He doesn't shoot him out his hands. He had
Yeah,
like a machine
yeah,
that he
yeah. I
was
know
using
he
to
has,
shoot electricity at
but
people. Like and
still,
he just fashioned himself to be Zeus.
but look at the
yeah,
penguin.
that don't fit the Matt Reeves. That's more of a DCU.
Yeah, because look at the penguin itself.
Yeah,
The whole setup. It's not even a fantastical world.
oh, it's
Penguin,
bullets, guns. That's it. Yeah,
that's it. It's just straight gritty.
it's just
Look. I mean, I
realistic.
know in the Batman the Two movie they're gonna show that
All
explosion
right,
that
so no
Falcone,
super villains.
Falcone
So basically,
set
because
up.
Batman has two
Basically,
types of villains. Batman has
yeah,
super villains and he has villains.
yeah.
So no super villains.
No
Let's just
super
say if we
villain.
go with
No, I
Batman,
don't
just
think
Batman's regular villains. I would
Yeah,
have to highly say, without a shadow of a doubt, without even going to any other character, you got to throw Black Man, you got to throw Roman Sionis in there. That's just
yeah.
it.
Black
That
Mask is a
would
good character to
Black
have
Man
in there for
is the
sure.
logical
it'd be
choice.
dope.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
that's the straight logical. That's the straight
I
logical
still
choice.
think you can do definitely can do Scarecrow in that universe.
Yeah, you can do
If they've
Scarecrow
already
and Two
done,
Face.
yeah, because they've already done the Bliss. They've got the drug, and then you had Theo Rossi playing that Julian Rush character in the Penguin, right? One of the most intriguing supporting characters that I thought they were building up to something that sort of went nowhere, and I was like, why did they even fucking create this character? They made us like it was like a real red herring almost, but he's also a total scumbag, very creepy, very much somebody with a weird, unhealthy infatuation with his former and now current patient, Sophia Falcone, and
Yes.
he was created for the series. And contrary to online theories, wasn't ultimately revealed as Dr. Hugo Strange, which is what a lot of people thought he was going to be. However, new evidence has surfaced, which has suggested that he's either meant to be Dr. Jonathan Crane or at least someone with ties to Scarecrow, to Dr. Jonathan Crane. You have episode 4, right? Sentani. You had both Scarecrow's mask and his syringe and glove on 2 stands that wasn't there in the second episode. There, an eagle-eyed Redditor who spotted this points out that Sophia barges into his office in episode 4 unannounced, suggesting that Julian didn't have time to hide them. And, given the obvious similarities between Bliss, the drug, and Scarecrow's fear drug, very similar. Could the Batman 2 reveal that Crane is secretly working in Arkham under the fake moniker of Julian Rush, or Julian Rush is working for him? And it's certainly definitely not outside the realm of possibility. Either way, a new take on Scarecrow would not only be fitting for the Batman 2, given Gotham City's drug problems and this big thing going on about Bliss, and Penguin being the seller of the drug Bliss, and having a tie with Sophia to Arkham. And last time we saw the villain on the big screen was Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, obviously, where he was played by Cillian Murphy very well. But somebody posted this thing on Reddit, and I'm gonna show you guys this shit, and it blew my mind that, goddamn it, the Scarecrow was like in the Penguin show. So like, check it out.
Yeah, it is. I truly believe that is what you were saying with the red herring and everything. That Bliss had to be created by the Scarecrow. Had to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
So look, this is his office. This is the background of his office. And you can zoom in, and on the desk there's these 2 items. This is the Scarecrow hand claw thing they're saying, and that this is his bag like mask, like the burlap sack mask. These things are on the stand apparently in this one scene, and then I guess later they're not there in another scene. So it's really interesting. And like, why else would they have it? You know what I mean? Like, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But do you guys see the screen right now? The Twitter screen?
Yeah, I see.
Yes, it's on Twitter. You can go here. Credit to the Reddit user for finding this right there. Batman film, reddit.com or the Batman film /s whatever, blah blah blah. So yeah, but there's a little, I don't know if you can see a little better. Maybe if I can zoom it in. There it is.
Yeah.
It says, "Wow, someone sent me this Reddit post, and it shows an Arkham-esque inspired Scarecrow glove and what appears to be a Scarecrow mask in Julian Rush's office. I was told by a source a long while back that originally on production details that Theo Rossi was written as Jonathan Crane on paper very early on, and it changed. I spoke to them about it, and we perhaps thought it was to mask things, perhaps a code name, but then he turned out to just be Julian. We just concluded perhaps things changed behind the scenes, and I honestly don't know. But this is so intriguing, and that can still be seen in the background on the show. So there's that one, and then this is the glove thing.
Mm.
It's a glove like that.
Yeah, like he's like holding it like this.
Like this.
Mm. Mm. I mean, a scarecrow would be a logical choice. It literally
Wow,
would.
there's a nice clear shot right there.
But the Scarecrow, although yeah, he's a great villain, he's not a real main villain though. He always had someone that was helping him get his chemicals, who financed him. So
Penguin.
yeah, it could be Penguin, or it can be a higher up, like even higher than the Penguin. Because remember, Penguin want to be
Or it
Or
could
amongst.
Court
just
of
be,
Owls. It could be a Court
or
of
it could
Owls.
just be him. Remember,
Could be what's his
or it
name?
could just be
Hugo
him.
Strange.
Remember,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you saying, Stu?
or it could just be him. Because remember, it could just be him. Because remember, scarecrow, when you think about it, is not above or below committing a crime to obtain the things that he needs to make his fear toxin. I mean,
But he
he could
he
just.
has to have a legion of dudes, and he, you know what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
Legion of
but that's what they
Doom.
want. Well, see, that's what they want us to think because of the last movie. But for the most part, that when he creates
I don't
that
think he
fear
has
toxin,
to.
he was doing that on
Yeah, I
himself.
don't think he has to have
That
a
was his
big
fear.
gang of
Like they could give him.
like
Nah,
he's
he
the
got
mad
it.
scientist
I
that
mean,
came
because if
up with
you
that
think in
toxin and
some,
shit.
Yeah,
yeah, with that
He was the
toxin,
one
yeah, in
that
the
came up with
comics, yeah,
that.
he came
Yeah.
up with all of that.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
the one, and he was a big time
Yeah,
villain. He was definitely a big bad at one point. He's got a bunch of comics and shit that are just all about him and stuff.
yeah. True, true.
Yeah, he
And
does. He does.
a lot of good
yeah.
comics, Batman
That's
comics by
just
him.
what, right. That's
Yes.
just what they gave us because Ra's was the unseen villain. In
Yeah,
this universe, the villains are more up front. There is no body in the back pulling, quote unquote, pulling the strings.
they're up front, but then still there is an under. If you see the feel the tone of that movie, the Batman, and the tone of the Penguin, there's something wrestling underground, man. There's something that's not spoken of. That's power. There's power. There's so much power shifting going on. There
What
is.
about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a bigger power that's involved. Because if you look at the discussion that the Penguin had with the senator, and the senator is like, hold up, this guy knows a lot, but I'm not trying to key him in on what I know to be true. Because if
Mm.
in that discussion is like, oh yeah, we're going Sophia Falcone, we're going to lay it all on her, and he's mulling it over like, yeah, this is possible. We can let her take the fall. Like he knows some shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
that's how I was peeping that whole game. I was like, yo, that senator knows a lot, and he knows what's going on in the background because he's a scummy senator, but he knows
Yeah.
there's somebody more powerful. And this Penguin guy,
Right.
yeah, he's clever. Although he's clever, he knows things. He don't know everything. So that's how
Right.
what I gathered from that conversation they had in the courthouse.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
And don't forget, Scarecrow. Don't forget too. Scarecrow also
Look,
is a
he got long.
biochemist. I
Yeah,
mean,
he got the claws too, the long fingers. That's the glove right there that he wearing.
yeah, yep,
yep,
That's the glove. It's
yeah.
like a Freddy Krueger glove with needles.
mm-hmm,
He got a bunch of iterations with him with it. Look,
yeah,
there's
yep.
one. They're all he wears these needle.
Yeah.
It's a
People already putting it out
look,
there.
look how many of them it is. Yeah,
Yeah, everybody.
needle fingers. I mean, these are from the comics. This is old
Yeah,
school.
yeah. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
somebody put the Batman.
Yes, and this is the one I think that this is the most recent one. It's got this big hat thing.
Yeah, the witching, like a voodoo witching hat.
Yeah. Exactly.
Gandalf the Gray Hat.
Or
Yeah. That's the one. He got the wild. It's almost like an African mask, like
it's like a gas mask.
yeah, that too.
It's like a World War II gas mask or something.
Yeah.
Like with the bush and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so many different iterations and ways you could go. I mean, this is a whole nother way you could go. You go with this like post-apocalyptic looking dude.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
the character Julian, when he was going at the penguin's mother, and
Fantasy.
he was enjoying it. He
Right.
was sadistically enjoying the pain.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Even when he did with Sophia Falcone, he enjoyed her pain.
Right.
So Scarecrow was sick like that too. He enjoyed people's fears and pains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, because when Scarecrow was little, he was in a child. He was an outcast, and he was bullied a lot. And when he grew up, you know what I mean, he became a psychologist and a biochemist. But you got to look at what he did. He specialized in fear. That's all. That's just what his background was.
And that's such a
And
fitting thing for this universe. And Batman's whole thing is fear, and the whole fear thing, like they did with the Christopher Nolan thing. But they've kind of done that already. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that I think hurts the Scarecrow theory is that it's been done.
But then you look at
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. You look at that Batman universe, the Batman universe. It's nothing but fear all around because they're in a decline and things are blowing up around them, and it's just mass hysteria at this point.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean,
all right,
definitely.
I gotta break out.
All right, bro.
Break out. Hopefully, y'all got the Batman. I got the Absolute Batman #2 before I go, y'all.
Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about that in a second here too.
Yeah, I'll be listening then, commenting in the chat.
All right, be safe.
Peace.
Yeah.
All right, bro. All right, one.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That Scarecrow, man. Yeah.
Slade said he thinks it's gonna be Hush for sure, huh? Well, I mean, it's all possible. It's all possible because there's so many great villains that Batman can use for this, this movie and this universe and this iteration of Batman. Because regardless of what universe or what type of Batman movie you want to do, there's a villain for it. There's a great villain that they can use, and
technically, the Batman had 3 villains. If you you had the Riddler, you had the Penguin, and more. You had the Joker at the end, but you had Selena Kyle. You can't.
I was gonna say, don't forget Catwoman. Yeah, exactly.
She's a villain. You know, what I mean? He may be in love with her, but she's still a villain.
Right. She's not a villain that carries a movie that's going to be a big bad for the sequel, but she's a villain I think that will be around for the sequel. Yeah. She's definitely still on the cast, so she's still going to be around. But the Penguin finale is clearly setting up the Batman 2 in some big ways. The final episode was called A Great or Little Thing. Was just aired the other weekend. It was the last episode. It was phenomenal. I hope you didn't miss it. If you missed it, man, go back and watch it. But we're about to spoil some things. About to spoil some stuff in regards to the show. So stop listening if you haven't seen it. But if you're on the fence about, bothering to watch the show or anything like that, take it from me. I think this is the best TV show, comic-based TV show since I don't know when. It's better than anything Marvel's done on Disney Plus. It's definitely better than anything on TV, on network TV. So yeah, even if you didn't care much for the Batman movie, I highly recommend giving the show a very open-minded shot. But now perhaps the biggest teaser for the Batman 2's future lies in that letter that Sophia Falcone received from her half-sister Selina Kyle, the Catwoman. That we and she was a big villain in the movie, so definitely going to be seeing her in the second movie. They not only had her in the first one as a character that isn't seeming to go anywhere, but she is teased at the end of the show, of the Penguin show. The Batman loosely adapted parts from the comic The Long Halloween, most notably the twist in the story that revealed Selina Kyle was the daughter of Carmine Falcone and the half-sister of Sophia Falcone, and all of that. Batman Dark Victory, the sequel to The Long Halloween, was also semi-adapted for the Penguin show. The Two-Face's role as the Carmine antagonist was replaced by the Penguin. So in the comic, it was Two-Face. In the show, it's Penguin. Alberto Falcone's role as a Falcone family member who murdered several of the crime family's members was given to Sophia instead. So they gender swapped Alberto from the comic.
What if we're looking at this like, yeah, Julian is the Scarecrow, and let's say they switched Falcone girl and she becomes Madam Crow.
Right, like a female Scarecrow. I mean, they like I said, they gender swapped the Alberto character from so it's totally listen, we're about to get a female Silver Surfer, but I don't want to. I digress. I don't want to go there. But we'll talk about that Wednesday. But definitely pissing me off. It's for no reason. It's for no reason. And the letter though that Sophia gets from Selina at the end of Penguin sets up a couple of things in this regard, like their eventual battle, which leaves Sophia permanently scarred, and Sophia's potential demise at the hands of Two-Face. More obviously, Sophia ending up. I'm talking about the comic and how they've been adapting it. More obviously, Sophia ending up back in Arkham does imply that she could seriously take on the role of the Hangman in the future, much like she did in the comics. Yeah. So, making her the Scarecrow doesn't let her be the Hangman, which she kind of already is. So it's not likely she'll be a different character, but anything's possible. But one little teaser that I felt incredibly dumb for missing popped up in the one of these subreddits titled "Anyone Else Notice the Owls in This Scene?" And absolutely no idea how I didn't clock this one, because it's a courtroom filled with owl silhouettes all through the courtroom. Yes,
which is the senator is a part of.
Right. So the Court of Owls, it's all over the fucking show. Considering the Court of Owls are a wealthy group of elites who influence the behind the scenes movements in Gotham, as far as corporate, political, everything, the parallel couldn't be more obvious. I mean, the Justice Department, everything. And one of the most important themes in the Penguin series was the ever-growing gulf between Gotham's poor and its upper class, right? Oz was always trying to appeal to the workers, the blue collars, the underlings of the gang, and that's how he ended up, taking over. And Oz found out that, the wealthy even managed to divert power from some of the city's poorest neighborhoods, like electricity, so that they could have power in this crisis. And he ended up, getting the power back. But a bit of wild theory on my behalf, but Gotham's mayor, Bella Real, seemed like she was being super sketchy to me in the last episode during the scene that Councilman Sebastian Haiti spoke to Oz in the courtroom. He specifically noted that Real had her eye on him. In the comics, one of the Court of Owl's most important members, Owlman, actually runs a campaign to become Gotham's mayor under the pseudonym Lincoln March. Nothing particularly concrete here. I just think that there's some odd parallels. Plus, Real's grassroots for the people style campaign would be perfect. The perfect cover And it, if she is secretly part of like this ultra elite, super rich, evil Illuminati type underground organization. Finally, the bat signal goes off at the very end of the episode, which is not some simple half-baked tease, at least according to the showrunner Lauren LaFranc. LaFranc explained in an interview with Entertainment Weekly that this little stinger was directly to tie the Penguin into the Batman 2 as a way to launch into Matt's second film. Quote unquote, she said, to launch into Matt's second film. And Matt Reeves even corroborated this in a previous interview, stating, he said, we're kind of flicking you at the end to say the story's not over. The idea that Oz and these characters could still be on a collision course at some point with the Batman, as that's of course out there. End quote. And so at the very least, we'll likely see some kind of direct connection or continuation of this story in the Batman sequel. So we know what was going on with the Court of Owls in Oz's story absolutely ties into the movie. So whether the Court of Owls is the main big bad or not in the Batman 2, I think inevitably they will exist. They will at least be mentioned. If not, teased again and be the part 3, because this is a trilogy. Matt Reeves talking about making 3 of these movies. So the Court of Owls may become known in part 3, or they may be part 2, and then part 3 may be all about the Joker, who we got teased,
or we'll get the same treatment with the Penguin, like the Court of Owls will have their own show,
right? Yeah,
just
I mean,
tie in.
Yeah. I mean, there's already a big rumor about Joker having a Joker show.
I would rather much have the Court of Owls because they affect everybody. Like, remember we was talking about how all the villains are basically they were in high society or connected to, and then they were dropped or or traumatized by it,
right?
And that's why they go after the high society. They rob banks, they kidnap officials and stuff because they know these are the people that harm Gotham.
Right.
It's strange, but I think that'd be a great tie-in just to have that. The Joker, it'd be cool, but how deep you gonna go with the Joker? Because he's a psychopath, regardless. He just like what you got, the great Heath Ledger, rest in peace. He just do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
So when you have that type of character that just does things, it's hard to really get something to grasp around him. It'd just be total crazy madness.
Yeah.
Where the Court of Owls, you can follow the story from the past to the present. You know what I'm saying? With the Batman, and how technically the Batman, we know the story of how his parents died, but in this universe, do we know?
Yeah. We don't know.
Yeah, because they never go back into it like that.
Right.
So I think they're going to use that as a catalyst. Court of Owls, the family was because even in the show that they had on HBO Max, it led into the Court of Owls. There was a show based on the kids of the villains and the superheroes, or like Batman's adopted, son or what have you, and it went into the Court of Owls. How the Wayne family was members of the Court. They were the ones who founded the Court of Owls, their family.
Right.
So they can be playing with that in this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely been teased and hinted at. I mean, like I said, there's unmistakable Court of Owls references in the Penguin show, and it's there's just no way that you can deny it. So, and hey, who knows what they'll end up doing, but there's definitely some clues and some ways to, I think, by process of elimination, make a pretty damn good, prediction. But as far as the Joker having its own spinoff, yeah, there was definitely no truth to that being a reality or something that had been planned. Um, they reported doing a Joker show, DC, someone was saying, but there was a lot of speculation during, whether or not it was true. And then, you know, James Gunn came through and said, turn on threads and everyone's asking me about this. No, there is absolutely no truth to this. A Joker series is not being discussed, nor has it even come up at this time. Sorry, don't attack. They're just one of the many places. PHS High New Threads people, because it was there's a big there was a tweet, right, that said Barry Keoghan Joker series in the works. The series will be set between the Batman 2 and the Batman 3, as if they were doing the Penguin show between the Batman 1 and 2, and then they were gonna do a Joker show between 2 and 3. And yeah, Gunn says no way, it's not been discussed, not happening. But his confirmation that this Joker centric series is not being discussed or has never come up at this time is kind of disappointing, because I would like to see a show, between 2 and 3, but it doesn't really rule out the possibility of a show between 2 and 3. It just rules out a possibility of being a Joker show, but it doesn't really even rule that out. He's just saying, we haven't been talking about that. I don't know where they're getting this. That hasn't come up. In fact, this could be the perfect, the Batman spinoff to kind of release between the two movies if, the subsequent, part 3, if Barry Keoghan's Joker is going to be the part 3 villain, and, develop the villain for like a far more, in-depth character of the Joker than we've ever seen. Barry Keoghan, one of these actors that can do, pretty much anything as far as acting goes. But I think the most convincing argument for producing a series focused on Barry Keoghan's Joker is that it could bridge the gap between, part 2 and part 3, just like the Penguin bridges the gap between 1 and 2. And this is like already a proven success, right? The Penguin has done it and been successful. We know it works, and it's quite enjoyable. We would like to see that again, because it worked so well. The people that made it did so well, and I think if the same people do it, it's going to be as good. Now, Barry Keoghan's Joker, my personal thing, not a fan. I'm not a fan. I have to admit it. Like, I gotta be real. Like, I want to like it so bad, but I just don't. Like, I think it's hideous. I don't like it. I don't think it's the way the character works. Like, to me, I think the character has to be more clean cut looking, more, I don't know. It just looks, the dude looks like fucking Toxic Avenger. I'm trying to think of his goddamn name. Toxic Avenger or some shit, bro. It's horrible.
Yeah, I'll stand on it, man. They can't make a Joker show. It'll be too complex for them. How do you contain madness? You can't contain that sort of madness. Now, we had a rendition of the Joker movie that was great. The first one.
Yeah,
that was great. But even within that, it was a maddening in itself.
Yeah.
Imagine a series to tie in 2 and 3, and it's based on the Joker.
It just depends on the Joker. Depends on the character, I think.
I'm like, who's gonna follow madness? Oh, like, you see what happened to Vic at the end. Like, the Joker killed him in the beginning. This dude just does anything.
Right.
So it's just like, all right, one day he's gonna blow up a house. Next day he's gonna go into you never know with him. So it's like, how can you tie down madness? See, with the Penguin, he had a goal in mind. The Joker has no goal. He just destroys. He don't give a fuck. He just goes crazy.
Yeah.
He has no. his main focal point would be Batman, but then you would have to have Batman in that show, and I don't think they'll do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So if Joker's always been fixated on Batman throughout the series, comic books, he's been fixated on Batman. So having a Joker show without Batman is no point.
And come
And
on, I'm sorry. That's not.
and then
That doesn't
to
work.
have the Joker run around Gotham without Batman trying to stop him, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
too difficult.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. It just depends on what type of Joker they want to do. If they want, how crazy they want to go with it. But the way they're leaning with this cat right here, yeah, you might be onto something because the way they got this dude looking and the actor that's playing him and the style of shit he does and the way that deleted scene man, it would definitely be some deep shit. And that's the back of his gnarled head right there. But these are your other Jokers. I mean, you got definitely a lot of different styles. These are very very different Jokers, different styles of Joker. We don't have a Jack Nicholson picture up here, but you can go a lot of directions with this character. This character's been done a lot of ways, and it can be done in many ways. So
Yeah, but
just depends.
the gnarled one in the Reeves universe, he he looks like he's gonna be a fucking whole handful.
Yeah, I
Just
don't want
just
to.
just sporadic killings.
He's definitely way uncontrollable.
Yeah, he looks like he just didn't care. Basically, he don't.
Yeah, I agree, Matty Rax. I'm good with this one. But the thing is though, is there was a deleted scene, so like they don't even have to do the same joke. They could totally revamp it. They could do a different version. They could do all kinds of things. Man, it pisses me off that this background that you now see with the Batman 2 and the villain, that was supposed to be there for this whole show. And I had the old one up from the last show we did, which was the Penguin show. This whole show, man, that pisses me off. Sorry about that, y'all. But this is how the show is supposed to have been. Because we're talking about the villain and who's going to be the villain of the Batman 2. But over the years, I think the Joker has become one of DC's most adapted characters in live action, with a lot of these different interpretations, of the villain, to appear in live action. So developing a solo series about Barry Keoghan's Joker presents the opportunity for DC Studios to do something different with the character, something that no adaptation has done before. But fleshing out the Joker in like a solo series could develop his backstory and make it something where it gives us a more fleshed out character, which is something that a lot of previous projects and DC Comics, even the comics, have avoided. Explaining why he became the Joker, his true history, what his what's really on his mind. And like you said, Raw Talk, it might be just too much. It might be too much. But it's something that DC has purposely never done, even in the comics. So I also think whether it's too much or not, I think maybe it's not a good idea, because I just don't want them to do something that the comics has never even done. And then it's like, how legit is that? And then it seems fake, like the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. Like that whole thing, it's something else. It's like, it's not the real Joker.
Exactly. Like, how you going to start off his origin? Well, Joker came from a wealthy house, and he all of a sudden he had a nervous breakdown because he didn't get his inheritance, and he went batshit crazy. Like,
it removes the mysterious, and then it makes it just not as interesting. And Joker's always had.
He's an enigma. It's crazy.
Yeah, his origin story has always been sort of left up to the audience interpretation, and that's sort of allowed his live action appearances to do the same thing. And it's allowed for all these different versions and iterations because he doesn't really have a set origin, even in the comics. And it's been a rare, thing on screen that, where Joker actually has a backstory. Like even in the 89, Yeah, I was just gonna say in the '89 movie, the Jack Napier and all that. Like I, as a little kid, I thought that was who Joker really was. All in the comics, I thought, oh, he's Jack Napier and he killed Batman's parents and all this shit. Never happened. Just from that movie, right? So they've always gone, and done their own things with Joker, and the Batman is this epic crime saga that could do something totally new that we've never seen before in a dark, way. And so Matt Reeves told IGN in 2022 that the Barry Keoghan version of Joker has a congenital illness that caused his face to scar into this weird sort of smiling way, and it he's feels that this deserves to get more development, and a solo series would be the way to go, revealing more about that character, that version of the character. So if they do a show, it's the origin of that version, and then it becomes that version, and it just seems like, I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't like that version anyway. But I'm a super duper, I'm a Joker fan. Like I'm a Joker head. Like you probably can't see. There's a shelf behind my chair right now with like 7 or 8 Joker figures. Like I got, like, it's probably my favorite villain. Just probably because when I was a little kid, the Joker, the Jack Nicholson movie, that made such an impression on me as a little kid. It's probably why. Who knows? Because people ask me all the time, well, what is it about the Joker? I don't know. It's like his purple suit. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, who knows? Like the card. Who knows? Like, but developing Barry Keoghan's Joker in that version in a solo series following the Batman 2 would help establish the villain as a more significant threat that would answer those questions, like, what is it about the Joker? Who is the Joker? And it would allow the Batman Part 3 to jump into the action immediately. Just the same thing they're doing with Penguin. I think that these superhero shows have really cracked the code when it comes to the problem of, we're tired of seeing every superhero movie as an origin movie. Like, every superhero comic is not a fucking origin story. So why is every superhero movie an origin story? And the answer is simple, because most people, they have to introduce this character to people. And I think they've cracked the code on that conundrum, and it's called make a fucking miniseries. Make a 1-season show that explains the backstory, so that when the movie comes on, we can hop right into the movie and see the character doing what they do. Penguin is perfect, a perfect example of how that could and would work. And no time would be wasted on setting up the Joker as the antagonist, right? All the groundwork would be done, and then the Batman, introduced the Joker, and the possible but unconfirmed solo series could reveal more about his origins and his history with the Robert Pattinson character prior to the release of the movie. So that's those are the pros and cons of it, but
yeah, that Joker, I mean,
probably not happening.
Yeah, because it's best to leave him alone. Leave him as an enigma. Leave him as just that thorn in Batman's side that he can't really get rid of. He can't.
Yeah.
Because he breaks all the codes of Batman. He breaks every last one. And yet still Batman never has the nerve to just put him out his misery. And I think that's why Joker does what he does, because he's taunting Batman with everything he does. He just loves doing that. Like, all right, this is a guy I know who can't kill me. No matter whatever crazy thing I do, he still can't bring himself to kill me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep doing craziness.
Yeah.
It's like the little brother that just don't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and Matt Reeves was doing an interview about him doing this show, and he said, anytime you're going to approach any of these characters, you have to find a fresh way to do it. So that makes it incredibly daunting. At the same time, this version of Penguin is a version of Penguin that no one had ever seen before. The only way to do it is to feel like you're earning your place, because otherwise you're just doing more, and people are like, well, we've seen it, so what do you got for us? So how can it be the thing we love but also something we haven't seen? There's always been that challenge. So with a character like that, we would have to be the bar. And so that's that was his sort of, addressing the difficulty of creating a new Joker version after a spinoff. After the DC spinoff Joker show spinoff rumors were debunked. This is what he was saying. And so, like, what that means, for the movies, like, he introduced the Joker towards the ending of the Batman movie, but it was never made clear what direction this version would be going for this, this this Elseworlds non-DCU universe. But Keegan has expressed a willingness to return, and Reeves is open to exploring the character. And so it sounds like, ensuring this version of the Joker stands apart from other Jokers is a focus. And that would have its own challenges in terms of fitting him into future stories, right? Given the Joker is such an integral part of Batman's mythology and such an integral part, almost a yin and yang with Batman. And the character definitely deserves the proper time to have the right plot and the right, story, and have the spotlight and be, almost the crowning villain of all villains, like the boss of the end boss of bosses. And based on Matt Reeves' comments, he said they don't want Keegan's Joker to be the main villain just for the sake of it. Exactly. What were you saying? What were you gonna say?
I'm saying, and also what kills it, I believe, is this trilogy format. I think these guys need to get out of that trilogy format and just tell the damn stories, as long as they're intriguing and as long as they can keep people's attention. And I mean, with good story writing and telling, I think they can extend the stories longer. I don't think there's any harm in that. You know what I mean?
I like shows. Yeah, I like long form. I like series over movies anyway. Now
looking in over in the foreign segment of movies in Korea and things of that nature. They have series for years.
Yeah. Yep.
Spanning decades.
Yep.
As long 100%. As the story, you know what I mean? So they can do this stuff with the Batman because he has a litany of villains. And as long as you keep that tone, okay, Pattinson may want more money along the way. But hey, you have a wealth of good material. Do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think they could keep doing more and more. They don't have to just stop at 3.
Yeah.
But American movies, like Americans, the way American movies work, it's like 3 and done. No one, after you're doing part 4, and then then it's kind of a joke. Like Fast and the Furious 10, it's like, okay, like what the fuck? Like you just keep making, but look at success after success after success. It's proof that you don't have to stop. Like the trilogy is not, it doesn't matter. Like if it's good, the reason it has the stigma is because 9 times out of 10, after the 3rd one, it starts to get hokey. They start jumping the shark and it starts to get weird and silly, and they like run out of ideas. And that's tends to be what happens, but not always. I mean, you have like the Rocky movies, they just kept going.
Yeah.
And kept being good, as you thought, and then had spin-offs. And that's how it should be. That's a series, that's a franchise. That's how a good franchise should be. Like the MCU, like Batman could have his own MCU, his own DCU. It could just be all Batman shit. Like that's how big the Batman stories are. That's how big the mythos are. That's how many villains there are, how many heroes. You got the Bat family. There's all kind of other Batman heroes. There's so much shit just in the Batman only universe. It could have its own universe, but is a studio ready to put all that behind one character? Are they probably thinking that's going to be a good idea? They probably won't at first. They would probably have to be proven. But if they look at shit like Fast and the Furious and these other things that have these successful, things,
and the Fast and the Furious is not really a serious tone movie. It's more of a, excitement movie. Look at Mission Impossible. Let's use Mission Impossible.
That's another one.
The tone of Mission Impossible, I think, is consistent across the board. It has always been thrilling. I love every one of them. The new one that's going to come, it's like
I stopped watching them after the. Yeah, I don't think I watched any after the third one.
I watched them all.
Yeah, I want to. I think they're all good. I was just afraid that they were gonna end up being like I don't know, just repetitive or just seem like cheesy, like I don't know, just like over just corny. But hey, James Bond is another one.
Yes, James Bond. Like it can work. It's just the writing and how you stimulate people's mind with your writing and storytelling to keep them enthralled in the story. It's like having a John Grisham book or something like that. He comes out with the next novel, another one. You got to follow the characters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You can do that. It's no harm in that. But their minds is geared towards, okay, these superhero movies is for the kids. No, it's for us, our generation that grew up. Because our kids they'll see it, but they're not caring about it. So they can get into their minds that you're not creating these movies for kids. It's not, no. You're not going to get any new kid fans like that. No.
It's like these action figures, bro. Kids don't play with these. Kids don't play with these. Like these are for 40-year-old men. I don't care what you say. These are characters. These are 80s characters. My son's like, what the fuck is this G.I. Joe? He doesn't know what G.I. Joe is. He thinks it's the weirdest thing. Like he sees all these characters, and I think about it, like looking from the outside looking in, it's got to be really weird looking. Like there's all these weird sci-fi looking fantasy weird characters and shit, but yet some of them are all military. It's like, and then there's ninjas. It's like, what the fuck? But like, yeah, I mean, it's obviously clearly it's not for. It's for our generation, bottom line.
For people that came up in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, and the 90s.
Warpath. Salute.
Yeah, what's up? And I think that's what they really need to revamp their thoughts. The reason why the Batman worked, it wasn't the kids. The kids didn't go and see the Batman. Even they had a whole bunch of merch for the Batman, but that merch didn't move because kids didn't watch that movie like that. The adults watch the Batman.
Right.
And we love that movie, the Batman.
We bought the action figures and the merch, not kids.
Exactly.
No. They have to start figuring that out. And I think movies like Wolverine and Deadpool really solidified it. Movies like Deadpool alone, like just, rated R, any rated R superhero movie has been a huge fucking hit.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Hollywood still wants to cling to this superhero movies are supposed to be PG-13 or something. Like for what? For who? Comic books ain't PG-13, they're rated R.
They're all rated R now.
So what the fuck are you doing? Who is this for? Like, who are these kids you're talking about? Like, kids don't read comics at all.
No, they're not
like. So I don't know who that's for or what, but they need to start just like figuring out what's right in front of their face. It's so obvious. We've seen it, proven time and time again. DC is definitely way ahead of Marvel on this fact. Yeah, absolutely. Even with Deadpool and Wolverine, that's a one-off. Watch what happens with Fantastic Four. Yeah, it's a female Silver Surfer. Yeah, there's a female Silver Surfer in the comics one time in this weird one-off what if story where Silver Surfer Norrin Rad had a companion, his girlfriend, who was Shalabal, was a female Silver Surfer with him.
Earth X.
There was never a time where there was only a female Silver Surfer, though, ever in the comics, and that's the shit they're going to try to pull. Watch what happens. I mean, Marvel still doesn't get it. They're starting to, like Wolverine or Deadpool Wolverine, bringing the Russo brothers back for Avengers. Robert Downey Jr., that kind of stuff. It shows me that they're figuring it out, but they're still got stragglers that they're still working with. I think, that we're still going to have to suffer through. But DC, I don't think so. I think they got it figured out.
Still under the mouse house. When you're under the mouse house,
right?
Remember, the children comes first with the mouse house.
That's right.
So they're not looking at it as, okay, we have this segment of people here called adults that grew up. See, people don't realize growing up, you still got to cater to those who are growing up. You just can't leave them behind. Oh, it's a youth market. No, the generation change.
Star Wars was for the kids. Yeah, but those kids grew up, and guess what? They're still fans.
Yes, exactly.
They're still mega fans. They didn't stop becoming fans because they grew up, and it's a mistake to keep these franchises only for kids. Now, I'm fine with, and I think what we're gonna have to kind of compromise with is that we'll have kids movies, but also we'll have adult movies, and I'm fine with that. Like if some of the superhero movies, like, oh, that's a kids one's fine. Oh, that's a teen one, fine. Oh, this is a grown up one, fine. But we need to have a lot of grown up ones, a lot of them.
But I think also what's gonna prove the adults are the right market is when you compare the numbers of the adult movies to the teens to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
When you compare those numbers and see that these adult movies is the ones that's hitting hard, you're gonna see them make that real shift that like, all right, we're gonna tone it down here. We're gonna keep the kids stuff animation. We ain't gonna try to do nothing else. We're gonna do the serious movies for the adults. The Superman that they want, we're gonna give them in a serious tone.
Yeah.
The Batman that they want, serious tone. And I think the Gunn's DCU is going to be an experiment. I think he's experimenting this to see how he can straddle that line. Yeah, the kids can go and see it, but the adults are the ones who enjoy it the most.
Yeah, I mean, look at his Peacemaker show. Like that's definitely not for kids at all. Like at all.
And that's what I mean. Look at the Wolverine and Deadpool. Me watching it, I like the movie, but it's just like F-bomb after F-bomb after F-bomb.
It's for adults.
And you're thinking like, who brought their kids to see this?
I hope nobody did. It's a rated R movie. The fuck you bringing your kids in here for? Like, don't think it's because it's a comic character you bringing them in here. No, this is a rated R adults film.
But check it out. But they had all these other characters that were the dog, the dog pool.
Yeah, it don't matter. It's still an adult movie.
Yeah, true.
It don't matter.
You had these characters that one would say, yo.
But Deadpool is an adult comic too. There's no comics for Deadpool for kids. Deadpool's never been a kid's character.
I know this, but then you think about the toys, the hoodies, the clothes. When we go into
but really, like I said before, who buys these toys?
Yeah, we buy them, but then you still have some kids that find out about them. Not a lot. I'm not saying a lot.
Yeah, and that's fine. But like that's fine. Like, and here's the thing: like we can't just. This is we can't like start like this is a big problem in the media right now. It's like they're trying to make everything for everyone, and you can't do that. Like it don't have to be everything. Don't have to be okay for everyone.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what threw me off about the Wolverine and Deadpool. It was great for everyone. Yeah, it's not for everyone. It's great for adults, but it's like part of me want to share it because it's the kid in me that wants to share with my boys. Like, yo, check this out. This is crazy. But then, as a father, it's like, yo, hold up. Too many F-bombs. People talk about cocaine.
Don't share it with your kids.
Huh?
Yeah, don't share it with kids.
Nah. But my son's seen the first Deadpool.
Yeah, well, that was rated R too, I think. Yeah,
it was rated R, but it wasn't to the extreme of this one. This one was crazy.
Yeah, they
went crazy.
They really embraced the fact. That's what I mean. Like this is what I want to see. Like I get your point, but my point is that I want to see them embrace the fact that this is an adult movie. Embrace that fact. Like really lean into it. Like let it be known. And the reason I say that is not to be like fuck you to kids. It's to open up Hollywood into realizing that we can just make movies straight geared towards adults about superheroes and about comic book characters, and you have shows like The Boys. Please don't let your kid watch The Boys.
No.
You know what I mean? Like and no, it's not as big as Deadpool. But,
And
Yeah, I
then when
mean,
he was in college, I'm like, yo, that was crazy.
yeah. But like this movie here, okay, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is a movie that could be rated R very easily, especially with if you're talking about the comic that it's based on. But it'll probably be set as a PG-13. But
Yeah, yeah,
it could go either way, and I think Gunn, we've definitely seen, is definitely not afraid of doing rated R superhero movies. That's kind of his thing. So I wouldn't be surprised. Grant Morrison, the comic, it's called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Another thing I'm really excited for, and I think that DC is really, leading the pack in, is making movies directly based on comics. I mean, like I said, even the Batman, which is not even the DCU, is based on like the Long Halloween. Like you can directly pick that shit out from the comics, and they're not just trying to make up their own new stories out of comic characters. They're actually adapting comics, and I think that's what comic fans want to see. And when you make comic book movies that comic fans want to see, then comic fans tell the rest of the public, hey, this movie's legit, it's great, go see it. And then the public goes, okay, well, if the comic fans like it, it must be good, and they go see it. Their strategy of trying to make a movie that the casual audience is just going to like pisses off the comic fans, and then the comic fans go, this movie sucks, and then the casual audience goes, hey, the comic fans said that movie's not good, let's not bother seeing it. So they shoot themselves in the foot. Superman, Woman of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. It says right here, set to introduce some incredible characters, James Gunn's ECU. So they've got the cast for the show, for the movie here, and it's Millie Alcock, who was great in the Game of Thrones spinoff that we saw her in, and she played Rhaenyra Targaryen, and she killed it, absolutely killed it. Everyone was sad to see her go in the midway time jump where her character becomes an adult and had to be played by another actress. But here's some artwork. This is from the comic that they're adapting. That's actually from Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And it says, first things first, the movie needs to have the right person, blah, blah, blah. So Millie Alcock fits the role. Okay, and then moving on. Now, this is a great casting here. Matthias Schoenhardt. Did you watch the show, The Regime?
The Regime, yeah. I think I've seen bits of it, not all of it.
Oh, these are images from the show right here. It's a dark comedy where he plays like this guy that is like a soldier that becomes like a dictator, but it
kind of like Hitler-esque, but on some others. It's just weird.
Like Stalin, more like.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. He was in Red Sparrow, another Russian themed movie, and this is like kind of based on him, like I said, like almost like a Eastern European Russian type, fake made up, I think, country. The Regime, really good movie. Who's it? What's her name is in it too? The co-star from the Titanic, Kate Winslet. She's the star of it. Yeah, she's the star of The Regime. And then I guess he was in Django as well. Now he
that's a different Django. That's the series. They have.
Oh, yeah, the 2023. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is it? A show?
Yeah, it's a show. It's like a spaghetti western.
Oh, okay, cool. Is it based on Django, like from the movie?
No. It's Django.
Oh, it's based on the original Django.
Yeah, there you go. The original.
Okay. Yeah. Because the original Django's an old Western dude, a white dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but he's playing Krem of the Yellow Hills. Krem of the Yellow Hills is a character from Supergirl. It says role of primary antagonist. He's the main bad guy. He's going to be the primary antagonist. Matthias Schoenhardt will be playing the nefarious Krem of the Yellow Hills. The space pirate is an unhinged and murderous loose cannon who initially works for the king. What a cool character for this guy to play. However, his reckless nature and quick temper lead to the darker and seedier forms of employment. Yeah, this is basically this character he's already played. This is already Krem. That's already Krem. It says Krem kicks off the action Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow when the villainous Krem kills a young father who fails to laugh at his joke. Evidently, yeah, that's definitely this dude. His fragile ego and willingness to use excessive force make him a real threat. Yeah, that's him. He plays that part. That'll be good. Eve Ridley as Ruthie Marie Knoll. She is from Three Body Problem.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
Bless you.
Thanks.
And there she is. I haven't seen this movie, Three Body Problem. Another incredibly talented young Hollywood despite blah blah blah. Who's she gonna be? Supergirl is set to be. Who's she gonna be? It doesn't say. It just says her part in Supergirl set to be her theatrical debut. Doesn't say what her part is. Well, we know. Okay, her part is Ruthie Murray. No, okay, and she's a brand new character in DC Comics. So that's why I don't know who it is. Once again, the only once again only being introduced within the comics that this movie is based on in 2021. Okay, so she's from this comic only. Ruthie is the daughter of the farmer who Krem brutally and thoughtlessly murdered. While she is left without a father or a clear path ahead, Ruthie's dogged determination leads her to find someone who can help revenge her father's death. And through good fortune, she meets Supergirl. The character is fierce, determined, and prepared to take on the villain despite her clear disadvantage in Supergirl One Tomorrow. Yeah. So it's, I mean, listen, Gunn is definitely satisfying all the left-wing people who want to see their, female leads and all these things. So, but he's doing it, I think, in a genuine way that I think is how it should be done. And like, I say it all the time. I love female leads. I love female main characters. So it's just that when it's done in such a cheesy, corny ass way, like I think Marvel has been doing, it's just my opinion. I think DC has been doing a much better job. Then you've got Gunn's Batman. There's Jensen Ackles. It says looks perfect as Batman. The new art. Let's see. He's not definitely like cast as the Batman, I don't think. Yeah, it says with fans still wanting to see Jensen Ackles to be cast for the Batman Brave and the Bold DC Universe Strong the Dark Knight. James Gunn's DC Universe is on its way. Batman will be the one in Dark. So they haven't chosen him yet. There he is in some art as Batman. But I think, like I said, it works. It's not. I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't jump out as like super dope or anything, but it works.
I see him as an older Nightwing. I don't see him as a Batman.
A young Batman.
The guy that played him as his brother in Supernatural looks more like a Batman because he's taller, he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he looks like a Batman.
Well, this artwork right here is really misleading too because this is like Jensen Ackles 10 years ago. Yeah, this is Jensen Ackles 20 years ago. The dude looks way different now. There he is. Now here's a much more recent.
Different. He just got the beard.
Yeah, he's got a beard, but you can he's got wrinkles in his face. He's got lines. You can tell he's older. He's definitely aged.
Yeah, he got a little heaviness to him. But yeah, I think he still plays that Nightwing character. He looks like a Nightwing.
He's a little old for Nightwing, I think, now.
Well, I mean,
I think that was perfect. That would be a perfect Nightwing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And Nightwing we might definitely get to see too in this universe. So
I want to see the disco suit Nightwing
version. Yeah, I was gonna say what version of Nightwing, if it's gonna be the old butterfly collar, you know what I'm saying? Old school version or the new, probably we'll see. But James Gunn, you never know. He might go with the old school version. It says, even though the DC Universe casting for the Batman is not started yet, seeing artwork pieces and Ackles. So, I mean, yeah, if you're into Ackles as Batman, there's, he would be an older. I mean, he's supposed to be a father, right? He's supposed to be. This Batman is Damian Wayne's father, and Damian Wayne is like, a teen. So, he's an older Batman in this one. He's not the young Batman. So. That's a different version that we've never seen in any movies yet. We've never seen an older Batman in a movie yet. So I'm excited.
We have.
What?
We've seen an older Batman in the movie.
In what movie?
We seen what's his name play the older Batman? Uh, fucking Ben
Oh,
Affleck.
you mean in the DC the old Ben Affleck? Yeah, I guess he was old. Yeah, I guess Ben
He was the
Affleck
old
definitely.
one. He
Yeah,
was
he
the
was
old
kind of
Bat.
older. Yeah, he definitely was. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, you're right about that.
You know, I
Yeah,
just think
I,
it's
it, to me, the Ben Affleck Batman for me is like it's almost like a flicker. Like it came and went, and like I barely even ever think about it. I
I
definitely I wasn't into it. Like I didn't get deep into that universe or anything. That Batman, it wasn't all that.
yeah. I think for him to pull off Batman, he has to pull off Bruce Wayne.
Right.
That's the key. If he pulls off Bruce Wayne well, then he'll do a great Batman.
Yeah, which
Bruce
Ben Affleck did do a great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, yeah.
But see here, this okay. See that's look at that. I knew it was related.
Mm-hmm.
You see this comic right here, The Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
The image right there that they put. This
Yeah.
is the comic. Same cover right here on this Batman and Robin right here with Damian Wayne, which
Yeah.
this figure is the one that came with the Professor Pig mask.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder if Professor Pig is going to be part of the Brave and the Bold story, since it's definitely part of the story that they keep showing
Yeah,
in the
probably.
artwork. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But it could be. But yeah, y'all, that is our pretty much our show tonight. We did the damn DC power thing. We talking about DC and the DCU, Batman 2, the villains that it could be, and all that good stuff. We had a great show, and we will be back every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Guys, please hit us up with one of them likes and one of them subscribes, and hit that notification bell, and even drop a comment if you're feeling real generous, because that definitely helps us out a lot. But yeah, man, y'all be safe, man. Have a good weekend and have fun and all that good stuff. We'll see you guys Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Raw Talk. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Thanks for coming, Broski.
No doubt. Indeed.